Hello. Hello, everyone. I believe I'm live now, right? Let me know. Today, we are going to do a very special thing. I am going to talk about the theories of primodality. This is something I get asked about a lot, and it's one of the foundational things behind what I'm doing musically. So I thought today would be a great day to talk about it. So I'll let some people arrive. So I'm going to go ahead and paste a link here in a couple places. Let me know if everything's working and you can hear me. And I am successfully live. Let me just paste this here. Live now, talking about primodality. Hi there, I'm very here for that. Hello Tom, hello Fiona. Today we are going to do a sort of concrete video exposition of primodality. So I think it will be fun. I've got a lot of things planned now live, just posting that in some places. So yeah, now I'm doing this on my music channel because obviously it's most relevant here. So I'm just gonna jump right into it because I want for people who watch this later, they can instantly start understanding this stuff. So let's jump into it. So just intonation offers a vast and infinitely deep ocean of sonic possibilities. Yet the harvest of tradition has reaped only a limited shred of possibility from this infinite harmonic landscape. It is my hope that with this approach we'll be talking about today, deeper parts of the harmonic series will be illuminated, freed, and thereby granting increased freedom and sensation to the composer, the listener, and the theorist. I see this as a huge blind spot that has kind of slipped under the radar for the majority of modern just intonation. So this approach, a primodal approach, advances a philosophy of just intonation, which organizes the harmonic series into several discrete, octave-complete families. These are basically harmonic scales, or harmonic modes, as some people are familiar with. These harmonic modes may then be sorted by primacy to generate unique color palettes. By taking a prime harmonic and treating it as the numerary nexus, in which all numbers above or below it are drawn in ratio against till you complete the octave, we generate a pool of unique intervals which function together as a natural gestalt, the primodality. Primodality stands for prime, mode, tonality. And this is because we are building modes and organizing modes around primes, but also a fundamental part of the theory is that we can tonicize. We can create tonal centers out of these prime rotations of the harmonic series. So in essence, primodality in function is a self-closing mode or rotation of the harmonic series. Due to the nature of prime numbers, though, when a prime number is respected as the numerary nexus, a pool of unique, non-reducible intervals will emerge, which have a unique and distinct sonic identity. This sort of emergent tonality can be used as the fabric and material to build our scales, chords, and various harmonic perspectives out of. Primodality then is a way to tangibly and more discreetly systematize the harmonic series and the intervals contained within it. If one does not use the lens of vertical prime segments and their factors, there are just countless segments with no organization, no clear relationship or hierarchy. It becomes mostly noise and chaos with the inability to make clear statements about where things are coming and where things are going. Which is why I think the over-two bias has existed for so long. For people who aren't super familiar with the harmonic series, you know, it's basically every whole number going up forever, and for years, centuries, decades, however long you want to draw it back for, we have essentially ordered everything based on two, or 1. So if you go and you look at just intonation in really any video on YouTube or any article on the internet, you'll see everything is drawn over 2. The 7 of 4 is considered. The 9 of 8 is considered. The 11 of 8 is considered. 13 against 8 is considered. 15 against 8 is considered. And these are all beautiful intervals, but they're just one family of intervals. But the sort of entire history of it until now, everything has been related back to over 2, which is very interesting. So it's really cool how the harmonic series contains these pre-existing octave-complete self-referential scales through which can be sorted by primeness and factorization away from a prime. To me, it's also a way to think about uniqueness and individuality. Highly composite segments of the harmonic series, such as 12 or 18 or 24, are fundamentally less distinct than prime segments, or prime segments that have only experienced factoring up of an octave or 2 octaves or 3 octaves. Semi-prime segments are also very fascinating because they contain a mixture of both prime families merged together. So if you like what the over 7 family gives you, and you like what the over 11 family gives you, you could do 77 to its octave, and you would have both complete over 7 and over 11 first octaves. Primodality thus also suggests a way to consider distance and proximity to and from uniqueness. The lower in the octaves you are on a prime, the more fundamentally unique the pitch material is. In fact, in the first octave, there is no repeatable or reducible intervals that exist at all, other than the octave itself when it finally comes around. The further you factor that prime, the more composite things enter as it becomes its own meta-series, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and the primal gestalt starts to be undermined. It starts to wear away from the weight of composite intervals suggesting other qualities. To me, this proximity from uniqueness is also an important element in the perception of sounds. One of the things that traditional just intonation approaches have always focused on is, what intervals can you really hear? What intervals are distinct enough and far enough from each other that we could tune them by ear? And oftentimes when we see this in a lattice approach or a limit approach, people think this is based on prime limit. They'll say, oh, well, you can tune, 7 limit intervals by ear, but 13 limit intervals, you can't, or 19 limit. Wow, that's hard to hear. But what I have experienced personally is that it is not about the prime limit. It's more about the integer limit. And as long as you are staying under some given integer limit, you can tune them all by ear. And in fact, if you're in the first octave of a prime segment, that interval is very distinct and very unique. And so it lends itself to being able to be remembered categorically for a perceptual quality much easier than other intervals. So for me, this is a very important aspect of it, this proximity to individuality or uniqueness. So integer limit plays a large role in the perception of sounds in my experience, but also how many times something has been factored plays a large role. So, something like 11 to 13, that has only been factored once. It's 11 to 22 in that octave segment. And if we were to go up to maybe 22 to, let's say, 22 to 27, that'll get a little harder to tune by ear because it's up another octave. If we were doing 44 to something near that, it would be increasingly harder. So to me, it seems to be based on how far away you are from that distinct nexus of options. This is also why I tend to avoid the generator lattice approach, because you'll instantly, when you start stacking just intonated intervals, you'll instantly end up with huge numbers over 512 or over 1024. And in my experience, that is where the distinctness of them starts to break down. I don't really think we hear intervals as the generator approach would claim. Like when I'm hearing 9-8 or 9-4, I'm not hearing 2-3-2s. I just don't hear intervals that way. And I don't think that they really manifest that way either, based on the way the harmonic series relates to itself when you play 2 distinct pitches, right? We're not hearing a chain of intervals to reach that 9/8. We're hearing the harmonics from that 9 against 4 against our 1-to-1, and then that creates an emergent experience of the 9/4, as opposed to hearing a 3 against 2 against 3 against 2 against 3 against 2 against 3 against 2. Now, that's not to say that approach isn't very useful, because it is very useful. Lots of people have made really amazing music and great contributions to music theory from that approach, but to me it seems a more arbitrary approach to approach the harmonic series. So now further, by using things like near equal just intonation or nudges, we can then impose and observe where natural constant structure forms exist on the harmonic segments themselves. And then by considering the primality or primacy of these segments and how it relates to the other prime segments around it, it reveals the way in which harmonic segments relate to one another, so that the harmonic series can ultimately be conceived of as its own scale capable of being freely navigated through, freely composed in, and moved around inside, despite its constantly decreasing step size. I'm going to go ahead here and check some comments, because I've just kind of been going and going and going. Hi everyone, it's great to have you all here. Oh my god, you are live. Yes, we are here live, and yes, so we shall now continue. So there are about 9 pillars of primodality that I want to expose today, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go through these. So first off, invertible equivalence is commonly assumed in traditional just intonation. In traditional approaches, 19/16 and 32/19 are seen as similar. In fact, they're seen as equivalent in most cases. In primodality, they are not. Each structure is respected as its own distinct vertical identity, and it is not respected that way in traditional approaches. So we think of any vertical structure as its own identity, regardless if we do invert it. Yes, it's true, 16 and 19 and 32/19 are numerically related. And yes, there is some connection in the way that they sonically are represented, but we do not view them as equal. They are their own distinct sounds, and sure, they can be related and considered related, but they are not equivalent, and we cannot treat them as equivalent. 2, traditionally, there is a preference towards scales with high regularity. While CS forms, or constant structure forms, allow us to get this in the harmonic series via nudges and sort of MOSs that have been warped around the harmonic series, primodality to me is most pure when the entire harmonic segment is used as a musical scale. There's a piece I composed called Pendelia, and Pendelia uses over 17, the entire 2 octaves of it, and to me that's really the purest form of primodality, where you have an entire harmonic series segment. This means understanding and respecting how to navigate a scale in which, as you approach the octave, the steps become increasingly smaller. That is something that you will gain from a primodal approach that you won't get anywhere else. We basically have to understand how to compose against a harmonic growth curve, because each step we have is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, of course, this is why we use nudges, because it simplifies it. It gives us some degree of regularity. You know, I also have, I'm going to open something here. I hope you all can hear this. I'll show you what I mean by increasingly smaller step sizes. And I think everything is still audible here too. So, yes, I'm saying that minor third and major 6 are considered equivalent in other theories, and they are not considered equivalent in this theory. Let's see here. They're very convenient when they're considered equivalent, because then it lets us do all sorts of little things. But okay, so here's an example what I mean by increasingly smaller step sizes. So this is the entire second octave of 11. So yes, I don't agree with octave reduction. I do reduce octaves for convenience, you know, that's very nice, but I do not really believe in octave equivalence. And I think that anyone who sings just intonation in a room should quickly see that octave equivalence is not real in a traditional sense. Like if I'm singing and I sing, like if I sing an octave and then I sing a third harmonic, the feeling of that third harmonic is not at all the same as the feeling of a 3 against 2 or 2 against 3. you know? So yes, octave reduction makes things very simple for us and very clean for us, but it seems like a convenience that we're applying to make things easier for us to understand. Now, okay, so here is, oh, that should play, but it's not. Let me go ahead and get this set up for us really fast. That should be playing, but it's not. I wonder why. No sound whatsoever. Let me just double check here. Default output. Okay, well that's a bummer. I don't know why that sound is not working. But I was going to demonstrate to you this collapsing size of the harmonic series when you compose. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's take a listen. So this is the entire second octave of 11. And notice how each step gets progressively smaller. And now we're back at the octave. So this means, let's say I want a minor third. It's going to be much wider on the bottom than, let's say, if I wanted a minor 7. So you have to get used to composing with these different links. Your expectation of how far a minor third is going to be on the keyboard or on the layout is actually going to collapse or expand depending on where you are in that harmonic series. There's the major chord in over 11. Quite a beautiful sound. So when I'm playing this, I'm thinking, you know, the higher I get close to the octave, the smaller my distances become. Or I should say, the larger the distances become in terms of note spacing. And the closer I am to the start of the octave, the smaller everything starts to become. And that's something that we just don't get in typical approaches. And I do use that approach, but I enjoy using nedges to make that a lot simpler, because it definitely can be a headache thinking of these constantly changing step sizes, but there is a benefit to it. Check this out. So this is something that you just will not get in other systems. So unless you try really hard to make it happen. So now if I take the shape and I move it down, we get this drastic shift in color. It's such an interesting quality. And then it slips up. That's that super fourth, the undecimal super fourth. So this is what we can do with these sort of unequal step sizes. So I think regularity is overrated. Yes, that is over 11. You are correct. That was 22 to 44. So this is the 22nd harmonic, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, etc. Indeed. Okay, now we move on. Number 3. Commas are widely avoided or treated as problematic in traditional just intonation. In primodality, a comma is just a natural scale step. There is no special property about a harmonic next to a harmonic. It's just a scale step. And so they are free to be embraced and considered as the natural consequence of moving through the harmonic scale. Therefore, comma doesn't really exist in primodality outside of namesake. The comma is just an adjacent scale step, and in this context, it's free. Some of my favorite things in all of music are these falling or rising commas in chords. If I play something like this here, you see, let me just go ahead and create a little sound for us. I'll show you what I mean by some of these commas being very useful. So oftentimes, if we think about trying to avoid commas or simplify and reduce commas, we will miss some really beautiful sounds. So for instance, I'll just use a pretty common one here. I'll just make a kind of an undecimal minor chord for us all. Okay, great. Now I'm going to go ahead and add an 11. And then now I could say, how about this? And now we have this gorgeous falling comma between 30 to 59. So if I isolate it as just a single interval, we end up with this falling octave comma at 11/70. And these are gorgeous. And if you're in a traditional just intonation approach, they're pretty much gone. You pretty much delete them. If you're tempering something, qualities like this they just disappear. And so one of the big benefits to me about using harmonic scale series, and in particular an approach where we don't view commas as problematic, is you get these really beautiful shimmers. And I feel that's where a lot of the gorgeous shimmering comes from. I'll go ahead and rebuild that chord. So we just started out basically with an indecimal 11, minor 11, or minor add 4. Then we add the minor 7 on top of it, and then we add a falling comma 11. We could do another thing here. I'll add a 9 on top of it as well. And now I'll add a falling comma from this 9. So if the 9 is the 50th harmonic, we can do a falling comma quite easily with 99. And now we have double falling commas. Gorgeous. So I don't know why we'd ever want to get rid of those, and I don't. So I keep them in my music, and I try to embrace them wherever I can. In fact, my piano right now has commas tuned all over it like that, and so I can play these gorgeous chords, and when I go to hit an octave or when I go to hit some other thing, we get these shimmery little comma chords, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Someone says, oh wow, it's falling and suspended in midair at the same time. I completely agree. They have so much movement and so much animation, and they're just so incredible. So why do we get rid of them? In fact, we kind of have an entire system of music theory, which the whole point of it is to solve commas, which is fine. I'm not trying to dig on it, or maybe I am, but that's just not what I like to hear personally. I like to find these small commas, and when you think about harmonic scale segments and really what a comma is, it's literally just a scale step. We don't treat scale steps any different in other systems, but since they're irregular and they get smaller and smaller in the harmonic series, we traditionally have kept them separate, but I don't. I just view them as a natural scale step. So there we go. There's that perspective. So now we have, we solve commas by introducing, sure. So there's 3. So first off, let me go ahead. We're going over this list of 9 key differences between a primodal approach and a typical just intonated traditional approach. So 1, invertible equivalence is commonly assumed. We do not assume invertible equivalence here in primodality. It's functional and it's interesting to apply and sometimes useful, but I don't really assume it equivalent in my heart of hearts, so to speak. 2, we have a preference towards scales with high regularity in traditional sort of music theory, and that makes a lot of sense. All of our music systems come from highly regular scales for the most part, except for some of the well-tempered stuff back then. But in primodality, that bias is gone. We can make more regular forms by using negis, but at the same time, we cannot, and we can just play in irregular forms, and those are totally fine. 12 negis are inherently irregular, or sort of any negi has some inherent irregularity in it. So, if I'm playing in a tuning system like this kind of quality here, there's a lot of irregularity there. But to me, it's the irregularity that makes it beautiful, It makes it so that each scale step kind of has its own internal melody going on. Like if I play through the scale itself, you can hear things are slightly bigger, slightly smaller the whole way. And to me, when I'm playing chords, it feels like there's like this melody that's going on between every note. And that's where a lot of the beauty comes from. And the harmonic series has that naturally going on. So we're just capturing an essence of that and then putting it in a constant structure form that allows us more easy access. So like right now, I've got it in a 12-note constant structure form, but I'm still able to get some of the, ooh, that's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. And everything just feels like kind of like it's being micro voice led around the entire system. So there is that. Let's see here. So, and then we said, commas are traditionally avoided, and here they are not. Okay, number 4. Traditional JI, due to its emphasis on the lattice, places a somewhat superstitious perspective on high primes, as each successive prime added into the lattice multiplies the complexity of the pitch space. In primodality, each successive prime just naturally shows up in the scale, and it requires no significant increase in dimensionality to be considered. So, it's interesting. I've posted a lot about this on microtonal communities and stuff, but there's always this strange traditional consideration where people are like, oh, whoa, 13 limit? I don't think I can hear that. Or 17 limit? Whoa, that's really high. Or 31 limit? Well, no, because they're just scale steps. They're not, each prime that we enter in a scale does not introduce or multiply the complexity. It only multiplies the complexity if what we're trying to do is form a lattice out of it, and then we have to factor it in as a generator dimension. But in this case, we don't. It's just a thing, it's a simple little scale, and it's a closed structure. So, for that reason, we can free primes up. Like, I often use the 61st harmonic. It's one of my favorite major 7th qualities. And I have gotten YouTube comments or people commenting, whoa, why do you choose to use the 61st harmonic? It's like so out of organization of the rest of the structure. But to me, it's not out of organization of the structure. It's very important to the structure. The 61st harmonic frees up a lot of other things. And same with something like the 43rd harmonic. When people talk about, people have seen me use the 43rd harmonic, and then I get questions, 43 limit? No, the 43rd harmonic to me is an incredible pillar that unifies a lot of high primes together on over 2. If we don't have the 43rd, we can't really sound over 19. We can't really sound over 17. 43rd is the major third primodally of the 17. Otherwise, we end up with a sub-major third on 17, which is fine. It's its more primodal third. But they don't seem like they multiply complexity. They seem like they unify things together, and they're important pillars of structure in the harmonic series. And so I don't treat them as more superstitious or different. I just look at them kind of similar as I do other things. Now, we'll get to that in a second. So that's number 4. So I'll go ahead over these again. Invertible equivalence, not assumed here. We don't really care about regularity of scales. That's certainly a benefit, and we can use nedges to impose regularity, but we don't really care that much about it. 3, commas are embraced. There's no such thing really as a problematic comma. It's just a scale step, and it can be pushed and played with whenever you want. We don't treat primes superstitiously in terms of them thinking about being more complex or less complex. If anything, the only complexity that I really care about is integer limit or integer complexity, because, the further the integers go, definitely things become a little more hard to separate. 4.5, because we have surrendered the lattice, prime limit is meaningless. Prime limit is only meaningful if you are trying to create some structure that is closed in its ability to then generate other things. Prime limit doesn't really mean anything here because we're not trying to create lattices. So there's that. 5, the sound of the prime in primodality is not the prime relative to everything else, but instead everything else relative to the prime. This is really important. So in traditional, with invertible equivalence being assumed, in traditional just intonation, people will say that x over p is equivalent to p over x. Saying like, for instance, 9 against 11 is an undecimal quality, and 11 against 14 is an undecimal quality. Things in traditional just intonation are named based on whatever the highest prime is. We don't do that in primodality. We name everything what the reducible prime denominator is. So 14 over 17, that's a septimal interval. 11 over 13, that is undecimal. 11 over 12, that is undecimal. 11 over 16, that is undecimal. Okay? 11 over 8, that's harmonic. That is not undecimal. That is a quality coming out of the over 2 family. Let's see here. So there's that. This is a big issue, I guess, because we pretty much have a cultural consensus on naming intervals based on their highest primes. And I'm not going to do that. I don't really like that. So I'm going to keep saying it my way. And if you ever hear me saying undecimal or tridecimal or septendecimal or novemdecimal, I'm always referring to the thing over the prime. I'm never referring to the everything relating back to the prime. And this is because we're treating the prime as the nexus. And we don't treat the introduction of a new prime as a new dimension of complexity or a new special quality. It just is in the segment of whatever we started on. So it's treated sort of non-specially. Number 6, consideration of virtual fundamental as not a phenomenon in which all things reduce to a singular virtual fundamental, but instead a gradient in which proximity towards a meta-virtual fundamental and the true fundamental can be shifted across. So the virtual fundamental is this idea that, let's say we play some complex high prime thing, we can't really feel fused or tonicized with that because it's actually suggesting some infrasonic sort of virtual fundamental. Virtual fundamental is objectively real and true. We experience virtual fundamentals. But when I think about primes in primodality, if we start on 13, the only thing that's divisible by is 1 and itself. So I treat every prime number as a new 1. It is the new beginning of a harmonic series. And let's say we went 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77. Well, now we have just developed a new meta-harmonic series. We are actually fleshing out an entire standalone harmonic series inside of our harmonic series. And I think if you were to hear 11 against 22 against 33 against 44 against 55 against 66 against 77, you would hear the 11 taking over the virtual fundamental behavior. And so to me, there is a bit of a gradient between the original virtual fundamental and how these primes become tonicized. So we actually have this sort of fluid continuum or this fluid space where we can push away from the true fundamental and emphasize a virtual fundamental, or rely more on the genuine true virtual fundamental. So I typically see the virtual fundamental thing a little different. I remember when I first started talking about primodality, people often made claims saying things like, oh, well, you can't ever tonicize those chords because, they're overtones, and so they're going to be suggesting some unified virtual fundamental much lower. And yeah, I agree with that if it's in the first octave, but when you start to get into the second octave of a prime or the third octave of a prime, now you have these foundational pillars of tonality. We have a perfect fifth. We have the octave. We can get the 5/4. We can get the 7/4. And these can all be superimposed next to these primal colors so that we can still have the color of the given prime, but we can also still have these like virtual fundamentally suggesting intervals next to it. And so that allows us to have this continuum or spectrum of proximity towards a true virtual fundamental and a meta virtual fundamental. So in many ways, primodality treats each harmonic or prime harmonic as the beginning of a potential meta series. And then what we do with primodality is we use these sort of prime points as leaning into meta series or leaning away. So there's something that's very different about this approach and traditional approaches. Number 7, this is really important. Just noticeable difference, that is to say, the limits of perceivable pitch difference, becomes increasingly meaningless because subtle differences that may exist below the accepted just noticeable difference add up across the gestalt of the whole family. In other words, a single dyad on its own may be meaningless and may not convey the sound of a prime. Oftentimes people get confused with this primodal stuff because they'll play like the septendecimal minor third, which is like 277 cents, and then they'll play the undecimal minor third, which is like 289, and they're like, well, these are pretty close. These sound similar. Yeah, maybe single dyads on their own don't express the quality of the prime, but when it is joined in chorus by the other members from its family, a distinct picture of modal identity emerges. This is what we mean by the gestalt. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So we don't care about the small differences that are changed between dyads. We care about the small differences that are contained within the entire unit. And it is those small differences adding up that create these emergent psychoacoustic phenomenon that come out in primodal stuff. If you've listened to some of the piano works that I've released, you'll hear there's these timbral things, these little sparkling overtones, these whirling noises, these kind of whistle tones that emerge above everything. And that is because we are operating purely harmonic. And oftentimes people would say, well, can't we just use that like tempered version, or can't we just use an approximation of that? I mean, sure you could for the dyad, or sure you could melodically, but when you start to fuse the entire thing together with all the extra notes, no, not really, because then it doesn't align, it doesn't sort of have that property to it anymore. Very good. So now, number 8, this is really important for primodality. The application of modal logic, but in a large scale through the harmonic series. So traditional approaches we can't really get this with, but if we're thinking of the entire harmonic series, or let's just say the first 128 harmonics to keep it simple, if we start to think in constant structure forms, we can start to observe these modal relationships that start to emerge. Like for instance, people will often try to force the 4 against 3 perfect fourth in over 2 or over 32. And this is really problematic for several reasons, but instead what I would like to advance is something like the 43rd harmonic is the kind of modal perfect fourth of 32. And when we start to assume this, all of a sudden it creates these other modal properties that are more evident, like over 17 is the flat 2 of over 32. Over 19 is the flat 3 of over 32. Over 57 is the flat 7 of over 32, which is the perfect fifth of over 19. So now we start to get this like consistent modal logic like we would have if we're playing on a piano, but we can actually see it manifesting in the harmonic series at a large scale. And of course, I'm just using a CS12 or a 12-note map as a simple way to describe this property, because we all know 12 EDO and we all know how it functions. So if you have a minor third and we go up a perfect fifth, now we have a minor seventh, right? Well, a lot of people who have this strong emphasis on the over 2 philosophies, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, our flat 7 of over 2, if we have a 12-note map, has to be the 4 against 7, right? Because that's very fundamental to the harmonic series. But the problem is, when you use that 4 against 7, you are now precluding the 19th harmonic from being a true minor third in the system. Because what you're doing is you're going to actually have this really, really like 30-cent flat, 40-cent flat fifth from your flat 3 to your flat 7. And if we're aware of modal logic, we really need to have our mediant pillars having the ability to support each other and reinforce each other. So in this way, if we have the 43rd, now we have the 2 of 19. If we have the 19, then we can have the 57. The 51, the 51st harmonic. Typically, if you look at traditional just intonation approaches mapped on 12 notes, they'll put the 13th harmonic on flat 6. Well, that's a great sound. We do love that, of course. But if you use the 51st harmonic, all of a sudden everything opens up. Now we gain the 5 of our flat 2, which is the 17th harmonic, because 17 times 3 is 51. So we end up really fleshing out and detailing more modal structure when we allow ourselves to be more free with the harmonic series. And of course, we're only right now talking in the 5L2S or the 12-note mapping constant structure, but this modal logic can be applied to other things, like over 31 ends up being the tetrachot second of over 7, or the sort of, there's all sorts of things. The flat 7 of 17 is the 60th harmonic, and so on and so forth. And if we don't use the harmonic series in a larger way, and we don't free the prime harmonics, these internal modal logics of the harmonic series will not reveal. The goal of all this is to eventually understand enough connections to where the first 128 or 256 or 512 harmonics can be conceived of in totality, and musically useful moments between them and connections reveal themselves. A limit-focused approach or lattice-focused approach will fundamentally never reveal these connections, and thus never fully free the harmonic series. Of course, the lattice approach can make these connections. We can say, oh, we've got fifths going in this connection, and so we could go here and then add a fifth. But to try to unify all of the harmonic series together, it won't happen in that approach, because for us to use the 43rd harmonic and for us to use the 61st harmonic along with the 5th harmonic and the 7th and the 11th and the 13th and the 17th and the 19th and the 23rd, well, we are going to be staring at an 8-dimensional lattice, which I think some mathematicians could compute, but why do it that way when we can just more simply play the harmonic series? So, in summary, these fundamentals, adoption of them, or movements toward them could be described as primodalism. And I believe this is why a perspective like this has not been advanced sooner. If you're looking at it through the lens of traditional JI treatment, it's kind of impossible to see this perspective. And you know what's really interesting to me is this really isn't that like novel. To me, this was the most obvious way to organize the harmonic series. I started playing with the harmonic series and very quickly realized that when you stack above a prime, you get all unique material. Stack above a prime octave, you get all unique material except the fifth in the octave. Stack again, you get all unique material except the 4, 5, 6, 7, and everything between's all prime colors. And, you know, we also see this in Fort analysis of pitch class sets and tone rows. You know, we basically have Alan Fort's system of organization for PC sets in 12 EDO, and those are all organized by prime form, right? We can take a PC set, turn it into prime order, and then that tells us the most sort of reduced and simplified version of it. But for some reason, we haven't been doing this with the harmonic series. We've been doing the opposite. We've been comparing and sorting everything around compositeness instead of primeness, which is very strange because then we're not really seeing the thing at its most sort of foundational point. Okay. There we go, everyone. So that's the majority of what I wanted to talk about today. I'll give some impressions on different primes. So I think 2, harmonic, 3, triprimal, 5, pental. These are very much structural pillars. 2 and 3 are like fundamental units of structure. They do generate their own sounds the further you factor them higher, but they're very much elements of structure. Pental is where pental and septimal, 5 and 7, are very similar in that their octaves do not have a lot of data contained in them, and when we start to factor them, we get obviously increasingly more data, but they behave very similarly. So to me, pental and septimal kind of exist in this middle ground. If we think about it like a sort of map or a sort of area, 2 and 3 are very small. They require lots of factorization to reach new colors with. And for that reason, they sort of operate like multiplying pillars. 5 and 7, these are an interesting space. They're kind of too small to really be like totally standalone, except for 7 when it comes into the second and third octave. But they're extremely useful, and pental is very gorgeous. In fact, I was working on a piece in pental JI recently, all over 10, over 20, over 40. Very gorgeous stuff. Things start to change around 11, 13. 11 and 13 are the sweet spots. This is where you have enough material in your first octave and enough material in your second octave to where it's very easy to navigate. Everything is completely distinct and clear. So those are probably my favorites. 17 and 19 start to expand a lot, and they're very, very, very useful, but they start to expand a bit much, especially in their second and third octaves. Tom Winspear says, pental and septimal make such gorgeous basic pentatonics and heptatonic scales. I agree completely. I was working on this piece. I'll go ahead and play it for everyone here. Here's some pental sounds that I was working with the other day. Some pental string qualities. So these are all over five elements. Here we go. I'm singing over 5 as well. All this is over 5. I swore to you I'd see you again. I'm lost in you. And also this is all pental. It's so gorgeous. Like you said, it makes a great diatonic. You know, one of my favorite things about pencil is the acute fourth that it gets. It has a 519-cent fourth. I love it. It's just so beautiful. And that's the thing, if you're like, you would normally avoid that. In a traditional approach, we'd say, no, we want our fourths to be 4-3, you know, but I don't want my fourth to be 4-3 all the time. I want it to be 4-3 if I'm in over 3, but if I'm, you know, over 14 or over 9 or whatever, or 7, I don't really want it to be 3-4. Well, over 9, it wouldn't be too problematic. Now, here's another thing. This is over pencil. Ooh. That sample's out of tune though. It's kind of annoying me. And here's the septimal super fourth, 528. Pencil, like 5. See, I love that. Take a listen to these differences. Here's the 528 super fourth. Here's the 519. Oh, you can't compare it, different octaves, whatever. And here's some septimal colors. This is a septimal major 13, sharp 11, sharp 15. Over 7 sounds so pretty. It's so gorgeous, you know? Here's tridecimal major 7 sharp 11 versus septimal major 7 sharp 11. So the over 13 major 7 sharp 11 versus the, and this is what I mean about, you know, when we start to think about the primes as like color families, then we can take these generalized ideas of chords or MOS structures or familiar scales, and then we can punch them through these color palettes, and then we end up working with familiar qualities, but we end up with a vast new swash of colors. It's kind of like, you know, if you're familiar with chord scale theory from jazz, it's like we can say there's a root, we can say there's a chord type, and we can say there's a voicing. Well, now we can say there's a root, a prime color, a chord type, and a voicing. So it basically gives us another dimension of color that we get to inject in our sonorities. So here is the major 7 sharp 11 in over 13 versus over 7. There's the septimal version. Septimal major 7 is very lifted. It's like a super major, pinched kind of. It's very sort of orangey for me. It's more lifted. Yeah, I don't like using sine waves either to listen to how harmony sounds. That's another thing I see a lot of people do. I don't understand that at all. That was a saw wave filtered. This is a septimal minor 7, add 4, pork 9, falling comma 9. So I use like pork 9 to refer to like this 162, 167 cent flat 9 thing. So it's like there's like a minor 7, add 4 with like a pseudo half flat 9 with a falling comma 9. You will never get these chords if you care about prime limit. That's kind of the sad part of it, you know? Because I mean that would have been like a 30 or no, that would have been like a 37 limit, 31. It's got 37. It's got 31. It's got, you know, tons of other things, right? So there's literally no way that you would ever get that if you're doing prime limit, unless you somehow decide to land on some part of the lattice that approximates this. I don't know. So this is why we do it this way. Let's see here. Now, I've got some other comparisons here for you. Check this out. I've got some comparisons here I think you'll like. Damian Clark, you said these direct comparisons are really helpful. Reminds me of how the EDO. Yes, exactly, Damian Clark. Like you can take an idea of a major 7, right? And then you can render it through multiple EDOs and hear the shades of color. This is the exact same thing, but only it's harmonic segment colors organized by primacy. And it allows us to sort of add another dimension of color to all the chord types. Here's an example of that. So all of these are going to be minor 11s, okay? I want to make sure I got this right. Okay, all of these are going to be minor 11s, all right? But these are all going to be different prime minor 11s. First, we're going to start with undecimal. Hold on, let me make this more lively. I want to make it so so it's velocity sensitive so I can voice them better. Hold on one second. Okay, there's that, and then let me also attach the velocity sensitivity to the filter. Okay, so here we go. We're going to look at minor 11s on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to listen to 9 different prime families, all rendering minor 11. Let's go ahead and take a listen. So first off, we have undecimal. Now tridecimal. Maybe it'd be better if I programmed these. Hold on. I'm not vibing on that timbre either. One second. Add the softest little bit of phase. Oh, you guys won't be able to hear that phase because it's mono, isn't it? Huh? Sucks for you all. Let me add just a little bit of reverb too. You know, that's another thing. People are always like, oh, you use JI, but you use lots of reverb and detune your stuff. Well, yeah, the center point is still JI, though, and that's what matters. Okay, here we go. So, undecimal first. Tridecimal. That one spreads out. Septimdecimal. Gorgeous. Novemdecimal. I love that. It's got that kind of lifted. So that was me going back and forth between the over 19 minor 11 and the over 17 minor 11. I agree. Undecimal is best, girl. I appreciate that. And definitely my waifu. Okay. Let's just compare minor thirds. Here's the undecimal minor third. Oops. That's 289. Here's tridecimal at 304. Here's 281, septimdecimal. Okay, novemdecimal, 330. It's a super minor kind of energy. To me, this minor third always sounds very paranormal. That's how I would describe it. Okay, and then we got 277. Ooh, very close to this. Close, but once again, it's not about diodes. Right when I add the entire structure in, versus very different energy. So that was the Vice minor 11, the over 23. It's actually very similar to a 12 EDO, except a little darker. Okay, and then this is the ultra harmonic. This is like over 32 or whatever, over 16. So this one's gonna fuse really hard. Hear how locked in that is? But once again, that's what you get if you like are focusing on this lower complexity JI stuff. You know, I mean, that still has the 19th harmonic in it, but That's what you get. And I mean, that's not bad, but I mean, it almost fuses too much. Out of all of those, to me, that one had the least amount of color. Sounds good, but compared to like, I'd rather have that one any day of the week, you know? So I like to use the simpler colors as a way to fuse everything. Not yet Electroflame, but I will definitely talk about that at some point. Maybe not this stream, but we're just talking about Primodality in general. But now here's Pencil. Absolutely gorgeous. And now here's Compound. This is over 18, okay? Compound, like I said, is less distinct than other things, but it's still cool. So here, I'm going to compare all of these back to back so you can hear them easier, because I can only play so many notes at once. Okay, so here we go. We're going to say, I'm starting to get sweaty too. Okay, let's see. All this music theory. Oh, and my camera went out. 1 second. This will be a great time for me to change my battery. Like my battery, not my camera's battery, but my cyborg battery. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna turn no, I think the fan will be too loud. I wanna keep the audio quality. Ugh. Y'all, I am so hot and sweaty right now. Because I turned my AC off to teach. Okay, now let us continue with our journeys of the harmonic series. Okay, now, we were just now looking at this. So we're going to say undecimal, tridecimal, so 11, and then 13. And then we're going to say, I think we have, what's that comes after that one? I forget what order these are in. So undecimal, tridecimal, septimdecimal. Someone type in chat for me. Type in chat this. Type 11, then dash, 13, and then dash, and then 17, and then dash, 19, dash, 23, dash, 16, or 2 if you want, dash, 5, dash, 18, dash, 37. That's going to be the order of these. And if someone listened to me and did that, poggers. That's all I'll have to say about that. So let's see. I think that was 11, 13. Thank you, Teresa. Oh my gosh, you all did. Look at you. You're all such great listeners. Thank you. Gosh, I'm blessed. Blessed be. Okay. That's so sweet. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to play all these chords at once. Or I'm not going to play all these at once, but so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's go ahead and listen to all these. So each successive chord is this pattern. Okay. So let's take a listen. 13, or excuse me, 11, 13. Now, I kind of baited you all. I think the rhythm changed there, so let me fix that, that little rhythm thing there. Yeah, I'm not very good at numbers. You guys might think I'm like, oh, wow, like so much numbery stuff. I'm not very good at numbers. I'm good at sounds, and so I just focus on them as sounds, and then I wouldn't have even figured all this stuff about the numbers if I just wasn't listening to the sounds. So, yeah, I'm not really a number person. Although I think I could be if I learned math, but I'm very bad eyesight, terrible eyesight, and I was seated in the back of a math class when I was a 6th grader, 7th grader, and because of that I couldn't see what was on the board, and then I ended up falling behind in math, and I failed like algebra 1 like 3 times. So definitely not a math person. Okay, let's see here. I mean, I am intuitively, but not yes. Oh my God, this is live indeed, and we've gone through a lot, so there's a lot to catch up on if you watched this in the past. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna play all these chords once again. And we're going to listen to how they all sound. So 11, 13, 17, 19, you can just watch as they scroll by and you can hear the different qualities between them. Cool. I like how the 37 is so shimmery. It's because it doesn't have a perfect fifth, right? Because that's the only one out of all of them that stayed within the first octave. Now let's do this, but arpeggiate them, because who cares about block chords, right? That's just lame stuff. So here's what we're going to do. Now we're going to go ahead and stretch these a little bit larger. Large and in charge. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to arpeggiate. For what I don't think music theory has any useful relationship with Max, I think there's a lot of people in chat who will vehemently disagree with you. I mean, I agree and disagree. I think there's inseparable connections to math, but I don't think that music is made for math. I think that music is made for ears. And so I think that you can absolutely gain profound insights into music through math, but I don't necessarily think that you can necessarily quantitatively describe things that'll sound good. So I like to approach music with my ear and then see what the numbers say afterwards. I like to take sound and then see how the numbers line instead of, creating sounds through the generation of numbers. But there's probably a million people in chat who will literally argue you until you are dead, because there are many mathematicians in the microtonal community and they have done some pretty cool things. Although there's a bit of a problem, you see, and I don't mean to poke fun at this or anything, but oftentimes if someone is brilliant in mathematics, they are not brilliant in composition, right? Composition is a different skill than math. And so there's a bit of a problem, which is where even if the mathematician's theories are incredible and amazing, oftentimes they can't really prove how good their theories sound because they don't really have the compositional chops too. Whereas me, I mean, you could give me a bunch of random sounds and I'll turn it into something, because I'm a composer. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a composer first and foremost. And so I think that's a little bit of a problem because I really do believe that the mathematicians have found incredible things. I mean, Irv Wilson, I don't know if he was a mathematician, but MOS, moment of symmetry, is probably, okay, okay, good, Max, you're my friend. You can argue those people if they come in chat or whatever. But, I think MOS is probably one of the most important music theories that has ever been conceived of. I think it's one of the great ways to unify generalized structures, and I think it's incredibly powerful. And I think that, but then again, I mean, I don't think Irv Wilson found that strictly through math, right? Like, he found that through observing sounds and observing different cultures and realizing that they had certain note forms and structures that were kind of general, So I don't know if we can necessarily say MOS was fully formalized by mathematicians, but I don't know if we can say that MOS was invented or found by mathematicians. Because it seems to me like we had technically found MOS for hundreds of years, right? With the diatonic 5L2S that we play in on our keyboards. I mean, that's MOS. The diminished scale's MOS, kind of technically, sort of. But so I don't, I guess no, it's not, because it's all one step size. I guess really 12EDO doesn't have a lot of good MOS sizes or MOS forms. But anyways, I am rambling now. So yeah, Irv Wilson invented, dude, what was it? Yeah, MOS are more of a geometric observation. Interestingly, I independently started figuring out and discovering MOS on my own before I knew what they were. When I first came into the microtonal community, I posted screenshots of this too. When I first came into the microtonal community, I was basically talking about generalized structures, generalized harmony. And then I was taking generalized harmony and passing it through these prime colors. And it turns out the generalized harmony is just basically MOS. So, but I would have never found it or formalize it as elegantly because I don't have that skill set, but it's pretty obvious to see. Like, I'm pretty sure the first thing I ever did in 31 EDO was I stacked up 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 1, which I guess is something, what is it? Does anyone know what that is called? That quote unquote temperament? See, I think of it as MOS. I don't really agree with the tempered implications of that MOS, but does anybody know what that structure is called? I'm going to look it up just because it's annoying me now. 31 EDO Zen Wiki. I'm sure it's listed under that. 6 5s and a 1. That was the very first scale I ever played in 31 EDO. It was just so obvious. So people will call that Luna, hemi-thirds, hemi-Wurtschmidt. Yeah, I think I'm a pass on that one. So, I also found quote unquote Mothra very quickly. I also found I found all of these MOSs inside of 31 within like one day of playing in 31, because if you've read Vincent Persichetti's 20th Century Harmony, he talks about these. You know, I mean, the idea of generative interval class composition structures or interval constructed chords is not really new. And to me, it seems like really MOS stuff is just, you know, an interval construction chord or a composite interval chord where you only have 2 interval sizes and it lands back at the octave, you know? In fact, one of the first places I ever heard about this was an interview with Ben Monder. If you guys don't know who Ben Monder is, incredible jazz guitarist, probably one of the most incredible harmonists and harmony thinkers I've ever heard. You need to listen to Ben Monder 37. That tune is on another level. He's on another level harmonically, and I would do anything to hear him play microtonality, because I can already tell he's like thinking microtonally but in 12, and he's kind of in the 12 thing so deep. But you know, he even talks in this linear jazz guitar playing masterclass video on YouTube. It's got 60,000 views. You know, he literally says, let's see, I'll pull it up.
Flat 5, which will give us an E minor 7 flat 5 11.
He's cracked. He's like musically cracked out of his mind. If you guys don't know this dude, go listen to him. Maybe not now, because I want you to tune into my stream, of course. But he's cracked on another level.
Descend from the roots, starting on the 7th.
He's like, it's just this thing, and just plays amazing music always.
Starting on the 6th.
Anyways, somewhere in one of these videos though, he talks about like extended harmonies that you can do, and at one point he's like interval construction chords, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 4th, and those, if they fall on the octave, they're literally just MOSs. So I don't know, the whole MOS thing's really interesting. I didn't understand MOS until I stopped kind of trying to think of it in the way that people think of, I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me, the way that people were describing MOS to me, until I started thinking about them as chords, and then it makes perfect sense. And now the way that people normally describe them makes perfect sense to me too. I don't know why people don't just say, oh, an MOS, yeah, it's where you take any step size and you stack it, and then you take another step size, and if you mix and match those and they hit an octave, you've created an MOS. That makes it like a lot easier. Also, I think MOSs should be taught visually on like a piano roll or something, because you can literally see them. If I draw a line on FL Studio like 31 notes up or whatever, and then I just stack things until they close, like, congratulations, you discovered MOS. Let's see. I'm trying to find that. Here, I think this is the masterclass. Let's find it. They're like short 1-minute videos. He's so good.
In my improvised triads, how to use them in my
He's so deadpan. The whole
comping. Be just as fluent in the melodic minor scales and the harmonic minor scales. Major, diminished, minor.
Okay.
Reading through
he sounds so...
The 5th and the 7th.
He sounds
both,
so bored.
With what I call a mini bar. Double drop 2 and 3. So root position.
That's such a stretch. I don't know how he plays stuff like that.
First inversion. Second inversion scale.
I want to find it. It's somewhere. 2 of them I clicked on, I haven't found it, but you know, he basically is describing MOS. Okay, let's see. Double drop 2 and 3. And he stretches like he's like cracked out of his mind. He's crazy. You gotta go. Thanks for being epic. It was lovely having you here. Oh, you know, while I'm here, it's been over an hour. I should promote my stuff. If you want to support my music, I know I'm on my music channel, so if you just want to support my music creation, throw $1 on Patreon. Throw $3. I don't care. But anything helps, even $1, because, you know, bigger number, better person, more happiness. I'm joking, but for real, if you want to support what I do musically, or you want to support the work I do with voice, hop on over to my Patreon and check it out. Even $1, you know, it lets me have better mental health. Joking. Okay, so there is that, and so now where was I at again? I was about to play this. So here we go. Here are minor 11 chords arpeggiated in these prime families. So here they go. I'll make it a little slower too. I hate this timbre. Let me make it more pleasant to listen to. Maybe a triangle would be better. Yeah, much better. Okay, here we go. Ooh, gorgeous. Ooh. That pencil one just hits so different. Oh gosh, isn't that wild? It just like feels like it's like going up. I don't know how to describe it. It's like expanding. But yeah, it's flatty too. It's like dark but expansive. Here, let me show you guys some cool chords. So those are some comparisons of different prime intervals, and so bigger MOS, bigger person. Yeah. Dude, I love that. That's like one of my favorite Ludwig quotes ever. Bigger number, better person. I think about that a lot because it's easy to fall into that trap as a content creator, but you know, you have to separate your like worth as a person from all of that stuff. Otherwise you'll just like go literally crazy. Check this out. I guarantee none of you have heard a minor chord this extended. It'd be cool to collaborate with Sevish. Sevish and I have talked and been in voice chat together and, you know, shot the stuff. How about this? This is a gigantic minor chord. I forget exactly how deep it's extended, but there's like some minor 23 or minor 24 thing or something. 22, something. Here's a super Lydian. So this is like, you know, Lydian on top of Lydian, as the Collier heads would call them, hyper mega, super meta Lydian or whatever. But this is it in just intonation. We don't want it in equal temperament. Who cares about that? How about these giant chords? These are all extended above the 20th, and they're all just intonation. Ooh, okay. Let's see here. Ooh, this is a beautiful... In case you guys don't know, the 5L3S MOS is actually really awesome. You guys should check that out. Dilathian, Minarian, etc. Like, this is gorgeous. This is a JI. This is a JI Dilathian thing. So this was in this is like a 5L3S tridecimal thing. So that would have been this. That would have been in this 8-note scale here, and that's what you were just listening to. Here's another example of that. Scales don't have a perfect fifth. In fact, they have like a 50-cent flat fifth. If that's like the key defining feature of it. It's like you don't get a fifth. It was lovely having you here, Andromorph. Here's more Dilathian stuff. NMOSJI. I love that. I'm using Spitfire strings retuned into JI. It's kind of I have to glitch it. They don't allow themselves to be retuned easily, so I have to break them and then retune them. Here's the scale, by the way. So this is it going up. Wait, I think it starts here. Okay, so this is the 8-note scale. Going up one note at a time over a root. There's our second. diatonic chords up. Ooh. So there's like the diatonic block chords. Pacifist asks, MOS and JI uses harmonics as interval steps, or does it quantize the nearest harmonic compared to EDO steps? Yeah, so there's kind of multiple ways that you can do it. So for instance, what I like to do is I like to use EDOs and use MOS inside of EDOs, and then I'll find an EDO form that I like. Like for instance, I really like the 6L1S in34 EDO. That's really good. This Dilathian structure that I was just playing, I think this is based in 40, it's what is it? I forget what it's like, it's sort of pre-images. So I think about a pre-image, whether it's from a linear temperament or from an EDO or whatever, and then I'll take that pre-image that I aesthetically like, and then I will find a place in the harmonic series which supports it. And then that will become like my like authentic rendering of that given kind of MOS, right? So for instance, like with my 34 tetracot thing, or I don't want to say tetracot because I don't like the temper implications of it anymore, but with the 34 EDO 6L1S thing, like I looked really hard to find like what the like truest JI expression of that thing is, and I found one that's really accurate. It's this. Sounds so true to the 34 EDO tetracot, but only it's JI. I love Rhyonian. I hate to say tetracot. Is that my classic pattern? Good to know. Classic Zia. I've got some trends, huh? Yeah. I'm a creature of habit. I only make what I love. Okay, so that's cool. I like that. This is a 13-tone modal union, taking that term from Enthar. You can use J as an interval and stack it in the octave as a Pythagorean. Yeah, I get it. So that Dilathian pattern, I'm trying to figure out what I pre-imaged that off of. I think I pre-imaged it off of some 40-something EDO. I forget what it was. But anyways, I'll typically find some MOS sound in an EDO I really, really like, and then I'll go and look for where that is supported inside the harmonic series. So in this case, that Dilathian, or the 5L3S first mode, that actually happens to be really well supported by over 23 and over 26. So this means that then I can kind of just sneak around. So if I'm working in the harmonic series and I'm using a segment that has 23, 26, 29, 30, 34, 38, 39, 44, 46, and now I instantly have a Weiss tertial 5L3S, or, you know, it also has an inversion. So I guess Minarian would be like on over 26. And this is kind of what I meant about 0.9 of my like tenets or sort of pillars of primodality, is that modal logic works in the harmonic series when you use these constant structure frameworks. So if I use for instance, Rhyonian, and my Rhyonian is on the 28th harmonic, I'm naturally going to get mixo-Rhyonian on the 31st harmonic. So we can actually see these like modal implications. For those of you who don't know, Rhyonian is like the Lydian equivalent in tetracot, or in the 6L1S. And so then its second step, if we're comparing it to Lydian, would be mixo-Rhyonian or mixo-Lydian, as we would see in 5L2S. So, you know, the same modal logic applies to these structures, and it makes things a lot easier to navigate. And it shows you modal relationships that you won't see otherwise. And to me, that's the big value of primodality, because after I see enough of these relationships and consider enough of these relationships, then it's like, boom, now I can freely move around the harmonic series and understand, how these modes relate to each other and which prime happens to go where. Like, for instance, if we're thinking about Ionian from 5L2S, if we're thinking of Ionian as a pre-image, and we think about building that on the 32nd harmonic or over 2 family, 43 is gonna be our perfect fourth. And like I said earlier, a lot of people will try tooth and nail to make 4-3 be the perfect fourth of over 2, but then you end up compounding, and then you're not in over 2 anymore, because over 2 is not divisible by 3, so we can't really have a 4-3 in there unless we move to a composite, which is fine, that's cool, but 43 then ends up being like the natural modal fourth of 32, unless you go way higher and I think from 128 above that there's something a little simpler, or there's something more complex that's closer to the 500 cent fourth from 12 EDO Ionian. But 43 harmonic opens up so much that it actually functions regularly like the fourth would in 12 EDO. So this is kind of what a lot of these modal implications start to create out of. Oh, I wasn't done earlier. I kind of should have said this at the beginning, but so I was talking about when I was thinking about so I mentioned earlier 2 and 3 are like formal pillars, right? And then I mentioned 5 and 7 are similar. They're like halfway color families, halfway pillars, but they can be both depending on how far you factor. Then I mentioned 11 and 13 are like a sweet spot. 17 and 19 are also a sweet spot, but a bit bigger. I would consider them like the microtonal versions of 11 and 13, if you'll entertain that analogy for now. And then 23 is our next prime. 23 is actually very interesting. It's probably the last prime where things are very clean. And also 23 has tremendous similarities to 12 EDO. If you're wanting something that sounds like 12 EDO, over 23 is going to be your best bet. It pretty much hits the flat 6 within like 1 cent. It hits the major third within like 1.4 cents. It hits a lot of things very accurately as approximations if you're into 12 EDO sound but want just intonation. And it also has some other cool stuff. And then we get to 29, and this is where things get interesting, because now if we start to factor these twice, our integer amount really starts to increase. If we think integer limit really starts to increase. So I think of these as more like microlineal or nanolineal. Like these are very microtonal forms of the prime families. They get very small very quick. And the first octaves are still very distinct and very functional. 31 is very important, very functional. I mentioned earlier that 31 is a tetracot second of 28. So I mean, that to me, that knowing that relationship alone is so valuable. And then 37 has a lot of value, the triseptimal area. And I mean, there's just a lot of value up there. But the higher you go on the primes, the more they become to me like pillars of structure, where we think about how they relate to other things and where they fall inside of other things, as opposed to necessarily them being fully standalone. I mean, they can be standalone for sure, and there is uses to use them in standalone, like if you're working on creating a neji that you really want sort of strict adherence, but you also want non-reducibility, you would want to use a prime that's a lot higher. Like I've used 73 and 3 before. It's kind of a compound prime thing, a semi-prime that gets generated. How efficiently can you actually get the stuff from your brain to your DAW? I don't have any problem. If you use a neji, it's like you just are composing in an EDO, but you just have JI, right? So like when I write Witchcraft, I'm using a 29 neji, so it feels like I'm writing in 29 EDO, but everything just sounds better. And then when I have to reach for subsets of things, what I'll do is I will just duplicate my instrument and use a subset. So like for instance, in Witchcraft, I use a subset tuning. I use the 29 neji, which is over 11 and 13. It's a semi-prime thing segment because I wanted some of the information from 11's first octave, some of the information from 13's first octave. So it's 11 times 13, and then that's what my 29 note Neji is tuned out of. But then there's other things that come in there, such as these, where is it at? Let's see if I can find it real fast. Such as this quadrundecimal minor 11 flat 6 with commas. This is a really important thing in Witchcraft, and it's not hard to get because I just load it as a different instrument. And then I just play it as a 7-note thing. Oh yeah, I've got my keyboard turned on. So yeah, now all of a sudden we have those other 7 notes, and then if I want to bring in the 29 notes, I have a different instrument tuned in 29 Neji, and I know how to compose in 29 EDO or 29 Neji, and so it just ends up being like this. Yeah, pretty simple. Is freeform JI improv with moving fundamental and meta-harmonic structures possible to your ideal extent with the Lumatone? Yes and no. I think it is possible if you set it up right. We're currently in the process of that. My dear friend Tom Winspear, who might be in chat still, it's pretty late in the UK, so I'll assume Tom went to bed at this point. But, Tom Winspear recently sent me a layout for a 53-note Neji, which basically captures all the way up to the 61st harmonic. Oh, you are still here, Tom. It's late there. So thanks for staying up and joining us here. But yeah, so that's about the closest we've gotten to free JI so far. Giving a haircut. I hope it turns out well and even, of course. Yeah, so it's so there's basically that component of it where it is possible. It's challenging. I think what we could probably do is, with the advance of the Infinitone software that Subrog has been developing, I think it will be possible soon. And I think the Infinitone software seems uniquely developed for Primodality, and it's kind of what Subrog said. He said he was very influenced by my ideas and stuff. So that means now we've got this software coming out that's pretty much set up to do this and bend between it. So we could actually take a 12-note framework or a 21-note framework or a 31-note framework, and we could actually bend between the prime families while we are playing. And that is a game changer altogether. So, we do love that very much. What tuning is this in? Oh, here are these minor 11s with a piano. Oops. We know that's note and decimal, right? Everybody knows that's note and decimal. You should know it by now. Sounds too paranormal to be anything else. And since these are all closely related and they're similar structures, we can use them as commas. Crashed. Farewell, Fruity Loops. Yes, Novum Decimal does have a nice crunch to it. I agree. It's a very, very gorgeous thing. Okay, so now everybody, what shall we do now? I think I've said most of the important things. I think maybe we'll do a follow-up stream on this where we codify things maybe on some paper and we go through things a little more detailed. But the first 30 minutes of this was me kind of lecturing, and I think it was very well organized. So I think that'll be good for people. Now whenever people say, what's primodality? I can just hit them. I can hit them with this. Ooh. Baby. What's the name of that guitarist I talked about earlier? You mean Wad Wizard? I think you mean parallel primodality, right? Because relative primodality would be like, the 43rd is the 4th of 32. when then parallel would be like, you know, we're moving between prime modes while staying on the same form or whatever, which ultimately the goal for me has always been to do parallel primodality. And I have done it in some works, but doing it right now with the digital tools we have available is actually a lot of work. So I think I might be able to find some parallel. You know, someone once said, oh, you can't tonicize those things. So I made this thing and messed with their ear a little bit where we had parallel primodality. Yeah, Ben Monder was the guitarist. Let's see if I can find this. Parallel primodality. Where I don't know what I saved it as. I don't know what I saved it as, but it's a bit of a trip for sure. Where's it at? Gosh. Ooh, 24 tone tetrav scale. No clue what this is. No idea what this is. Let's see how it sounds. Oh, I remember this. Super comma. JI. It's a JI 24 thing where it's like tetrav. So it's like a 24 note unique scale instead of 12 note. Sounds pretty good. Have you guys ever heard... Oh. Do you guys think if I play... Oh, my camera overheated. Do you guys think if I play Ariana Grande but slowed down on the stream, you think I'll get cease and desisted? That's a question. If I play Ariana Grande slowed down, do you think I get cease and desisted? I don't think I will, just to not risk it, but I don't want to risk it. I don't want to risk it. I'm thinking no cease and desist, please. You think I would get cease and desisted? Okay, let's see here. Arcanism, adore. What is this? Oh, I forgot. Oh, this is, you guys know Eurybia, right? This is Eurybia, one of the earliest demos of it, back when it was called Adore. It's changed so much. Sounds way worse. Oh, and this is the first demo of it. Eurybia, oh, here, let me, I should probably share my screen or do something visual. I'm letting my camera not overheat because it overheated, so maybe I should end my stream here, but... Okay, let's see here. There's a sound I'm trying to look for though, where I used parallel primodality, where every chord was a different prime mode, but it all had the same root. It was really, really cool. I wish I could find it. I don't know what month I did it. I have to think about what month I did that in. Not that. Was it this? What is this? Oh, I don't remember this. Oh, this is in like JI. Oh, that's clipping. Sorry. That's loud. My bad. Sorry if that clipped really loud. Interesting. I forgot all about this. Zodiacs. I'll probably never release this, so. Do you announce when you're gonna stream? Nah, I just hit live. Yeah, so I'll never release that piece. But it was a fun one. You know, there's also this one. I think I've played it on stream before, but this is one of those pieces. Oh, Estrella. That was also Eurybia at one point. There is this one piece that I started working on a long time ago that I never finished. I guarantee you all would like it, but I'm not ever going to finish it, I don't think. So I think I might play it and see, just to hear it, because I haven't listened to it in a long time. Oh yeah, I think on my album I'm going to do Prayer Room and Just Intonation. It was originally in 31 EDO, but it kind of hits different in JI. So like I think, let's see, where's it at? I don't know if you guys have heard it in Just Intonation, but it sounds crazy. It's in a 31 Neji of 23 and 6. You know, I didn't know until after I went and analyzed Prayer Room after I wrote it that it's almost all super major. This thing is super major. It's kind of like this weird... This is the original. Here's in JI. I just love that. So much better. Okay, now I said I'd play this song that I never released. Let's see. This is in 17 Neji. I know there's a lot of 17 fans in chat. Oh, Laura, you can just say, wait, with that song I was just playing, that's just Prayer Room. You can ask me about Prayer Room. Ooh, this is 17 Neji. Why won't you release it? Because I'm working on my Pinnacle album at the moment, and it's not in the right line of energy. Okay, camera coming back on. Okay, we are back. Hello. I'm so sweaty too. I'm like melting. Okay, so there's that junk. Now let me show you the junk I'm looking for. This is going to be an old junker that stays dead in my thing, so I might as well share it with you all to enjoy. Oh, you know, there's this piece I've been working on for like 3 years called polymorphing. I need to release it because it's actually done. I just haven't released it. Isn't that ridiculous? Okay, let's see. How do you decide what you release and you don't? It either releases or it doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason. I wish there was. If there was a rhyme or reason, I'm sure it would work better. Okay, here we go. Here's this junk. 31 tone future bass. I'm sure I've played on stream before, but here you go. Oh, I know why I don't want to release this. I don't want to release it because I don't feel like re-singing it, and I feel like the vocals suck, so I'm too lazy to vocalize it. Lost in my heart, the years stand still. I will release it. I don't know. to make like future bass and 31. Yeah, this was 31 future bass. That's what it's actually called at the moment. Now, I think this has lyrics I don't like anymore. I want to play the one without lyrics, but we'll see if this has lyrics or not. So we'll vibe.
Spectrum, lover, waves locked in tight, beat aligned just right. Feel it deeper. Connect to me. This is my expression of our harmony. When it walks in tighter. Freedom in the sound waves. Pressure's fully enslaved.
Pressure's fully enslaved. Let's go off, yo.
Pieces of the numbers
Maybe I will release it.
are different shades of colors.
Oh, this is sick right here. Oh, that's out of tune. Blech, that was gross. Yeah, I don't like the vocals either. That's kind of why I don't want to... What does out of tune mean? Not unintended. It's bad vocals. Yeah, that's why I haven't released it. I don't feel like redoing the vocals. But I also feel... I don't know. Maybe I'll do an instrumental for it. Yeah, I like it without the vocals. Let's see. I think I have a non-vocal version. No, I don't. Wait, here?
Freedom in the sound
Wait. Is this it? No. See, I put vocals on it really early. Oh. I used to have a lead on this too. Check it out. Maybe I should get rid of the vocals and replace it with these leads. Take a listen to this. It kind of slaps. Like, that lead is actually kind of nasty. I think maybe just more shit like that would be so sick. Yeah, so there's that. That's that 31 tone soul. So there's that. I'll probably never see the light of day, although it actually is kind of nice. I'm kind of feeling it now, actually. So that's kind of why I like going through old stuff I haven't released with y'all, because sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, why did I put that down? Like Viola, why have I not finished that? I was like so inspired on Viola, and then it just ceased to be. But I think I have to finish it for my album. So my album is very close to being done, everybody. Very, very close. And there's this piece that I kind of think I need to do on it that I don't really want to do. So there's one piece I haven't even started yet that I know has to be finished. It's called Goddess. And I have to finish it. It's been gestating in the mind for like probably like 11 months now. And parts of it have came out in other pieces, but I haven't like made it. So I have to finish it conceptually before I'm done with my album, which kind of sucks because I'm also focused on hex at the moment, and it's kind of like there's so many things. I was gonna use some other pieces I've already released, but I kind of want to not release those, and instead I feel like the conception of my full-length album is becoming so increasingly clear to me that I know exactly what I have to do, but it means that I have to finish a piece that's about 30% done, and then I have to start a new piece. And given the fact I work so much and I do my voice stuff and everything like that, that means my full-length album might not be done for a while, which I really hate that idea, but I don't want to rush it. But like this, oh wait, hold on, where's Viola? I think I played it on stream here at one point, but I think I've got it here somewhere. I love how it sounds. I think I would be able to find it just by searching 34, because it's in 34 Neji. Nope, I didn't find it. Searching 34 Neji. I've played it on stream before, I know I have, but I love it so much, and I really kind of need to finish it, but I kind of don't want to do that piece yet. I want to do something else, so it's kind of a challenging decision. Check this out. Yeah, I'm going to post the stream as a video. The entire point of it was the first 30 minutes of it was like an exposition on the theories of primodality. So it's definitely going to stay up on my channel, because whenever people ask me what is primodality, I can just click on this video. Check this out though. I added a bunch to hex. I'm not going to spoil all of it. If you guys have not heard hex yet, it's crazy. And this part is crazy. I added this. This is so sick. That is like, oh my god. I love that texture. That all synth stuff? No, that's acoustic cello. That's me playing cello. Yeah, that's acoustic. Yeah, that was all live. This entire piece is pure just intonation or free pitch. Cello do go burr, especially when you run it through homicide. Oh, I forgot about this part. It's a demo. I've got to make it better. It's a poem. Succeed with this present was a very making, and the key present and marry, and release and still. The king of embraces our souls, gotta die. It's gonna sound like some haunted shit, you know? It's not done yet. But it'll sound super sick. I added this last night. It'll like start screaming, so I'll start screaming here. But I haven't added that yet. Do you know what I found now? I love it. This is probably my favorite piece I've ever created. I feel it's one of the most conceptually cohesive things I've ever made, but at the same time, it's the least musically cohesive. But because it's like thematically so cohesive, the music can be so jagged and it works fine, and it's so powerful. I've been working on this a little bit every day, and then I export it every night, and then I lay in bed and listen to it, and it's just like, it is yet to get boring to me, and it's a trip. So I started playing it at 8 minutes in, so you guys heard. And remember also, like I said on the last stream I did, that's in mono. So when you hear that in stereo, it's going to hit so hard. And also I want to thank Osno1, who was in chat here. She gave me some awesome feedback on it, and that feedback has helped me make it a lot better. And as I was chasing some of that feedback, that entire extra section I just played was born. So it's kind of a monster piece. I also added this vocal part last night. I don't like it. I think it's out of tune. So, I'm going to just demo it, but I've got this. So conceptually, this is like an internal like monologue. Like whenever it's pretty, that's like the main character Vis, like communicating with themselves more like in a kind of in a way where they're seeing more clearly and they're like understanding. I don't want to spoil it all, but those parts that are really pretty like represent like the experience of Vis directly, and all the other parts are like something else. I'll say. I reached out last night to a videographer, a film person, a lighting, whatever. Maybe, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed yet. I'm going to do some research on this. I think I want to spend a bunch of money and turn Hex into like a music video, like a really good one. Like, and during that part where like the drowning happens right here, like this. Like I want to get some shots of me strobe lighting, like drowning underwater, like fighting. So I'm thinking I'm going to drop some high budget and make like a legit like visual narrative to go along with this. But that's still to be determined, right? Because it's a lot of work, but it seems like it would be awesome. And the hard thing is this piece is so non-corporeal. So many parts of it exist in a place where there wouldn't be physical bodies, that it has to capture that kind of energy. And then the moments where there is singing, where Vis is like active in the character, like it has to be like I'll be there like being the character or whatever, having a trauma moment, because it's just one gigantic musical trauma pretty much, for the character at least. So anyways, that's Hex. I can't wait to drop it. Here's the thing, I'm in a dilemma because it's about done. I need to re-record like a couple vocals. I need to process the vocals a little bit better, but it's pretty much done, and I really just want to release it on my YouTube. But I also wonder if I should just not release it and then wait till I finish the album, so that there's like more content on the album that hasn't been released. That's the thing with albums these days, is it feels like, it feels like spending a bunch of time, because music's not my full-time thing anymore, right? Voice is my full-time thing. So I don't get to work on music as fast as I would like. And so the idea of like sitting on a piece you're really proud of for like multiple months while you wait for the other stuff to finish to release all at once, it doesn't really feel like it's that worth it. You know what I mean? But I think it would be better in the long run, because I think I want to give everybody content on the album they haven't heard yet, but I also don't know if it's that important. So a bit of a dilemma there, because I've been doing this thing where it's like the moment I finish a piece, I release it, and that's helped me keep releasing stuff, because it's like I get this momentum where I build up this piece and then I release it and share it and it's out there. And the idea of like, oh, I've built this momentum, I made this thing, and now I'm just like sitting on it, like that kind of kills me. I haven't done that since like my third full-length album, and I honestly don't like it. So I mean, I like my third album, but I don't like that process of like, oh, I finished this thing and now I'm just waiting for other things to be finished. Because I don't know, Goddess could take me 2 months, it could take me 3 months, it could take me 5 months. I don't know how long it's going to take me. And Viola, that's going to be a long process too. So I don't know what the best course of action is in terms of the release of my album. Singles have been going well for me, so maybe I release Hex as a single and then in the future release a music video for it. I don't know, but I also want to have this cohesive album drop, because it's kind of like the album is pretty crazy. So been sitting on a big album for 4 years. Doesn't that suck? Like, yeah. I don't know how other people do it. Like, if music was my full-time job, yeah, because I would finish my album within a month, literally. I'd sit around here all day long and compose music for like 12 to 16 hours a day like I used to, and then I would be done. But I work a day job, and I have a side hustle, and I make content for a bigger YouTube channel, and I make content for this channel. And when everything is all said and done, I don't really get that much time to compose anymore. I mean, I get enough time. I can't really complain, but... Oh, here's this one tune. No? Oh, this one. I need to finish this one as well. This one's really important. Bigger YouTube channel? Yeah, I have a voice education channel that's like 10 times the size of my music channel. This is like my B channel. That's also why I don't release more stuff on this channel or do more streaming on this channel, because we've had about 50 to 60 concurrent viewers for this stream, which is good for this channel. But if I go live on my other one, I'll get like 250 people like instantly, and you know what I mean? It's like way bigger. So there's kind of like a weird thing streaming on this channel because it's such a smaller impact. But for like Primodality stuff, like I'm not going to do that on my other channel because it's like no one even knows what tuning is. Fake Dracula. I hate the idea of TikTok, and I'm never going to go on TikTok. So I'm trying to hire a TikTok manager. I need to hire someone to do TikTok stuff for me because I am never getting on that application. I think it's brainworms. No, you didn't miss a big theory channel growing. This is my theory channel. Well, I used to have a theory channel a long time ago, but then I love tuning sandwiches. But then I got rid of that theory channel, and now I have this one. So I think I could make this a big theory channel if that's what I was doing. But instead, I'm focusing on the voice stuff first and foremost, you know? So, yeah, the TikTok stuff, I know I'm missing out on a huge audience, but at the same time, I feel like I want to be able to consent to getting on TikTok. And right now, the way it works is like I don't consent to be on TikTok. It's like forcing me to be on TikTok. You know what I mean? So it's like the fact that there's like this compulsive urge, like, oh, you got to go get those numbers on TikTok, got to get more viewers on. I then don't do it because I have to have some degree of autonomy over my actions. And I feel like TikTok puts me in a place where it's like more numbers, more people, go TikTok. Yeah, I don't even know. I feel like just TikTok in general is just brain rot. I also feel like I like making content that has a lot of in value, like deeper value, and I don't really feel like you can do that on TikTok, even with a 2-minute video. It's like, you know, no one there is like, nothing on TikTok is giving you like profound value, unless it's maybe like emotional pick-me-ups that are like, you can do it, come on, you know, like things like that probably have value for people. Like, sure, you can like laugh and see like silly memes, and you know, someone dances, gets 5 million views or whatever, but I don't really think it's that thing. The other thing about TikTok that's really weird is because, like, exactly what you said, Hamburgini, self-promo is easy on TikTok due to that algorithm. Exactly. But the other thing is that the views are inflated, right? Like, nobody would say that 2 million views on TikTok is equivalent to 2 million views on YouTube, right? I would almost wager that 1 million views on TikTok is equivalent to like 40,000 views on YouTube. You know, it's I think it's the way it inflates. Like if I open TikTok right now and then I try to leave the application and I hit back, it'll play 3 videos, and those count as views for that person on their video. But was that actually like a view? You know, like I'm trying to leave the application, I'm trying to just go back really fast, but it still counts as a view the moment I hit the thing. When it loops over, it counts as a view. So somebody watching your TikTok could accidentally leave it on their phone playing 5 times, and now it gives you 5 views. So I think what it does is it utilizes and takes advantage of, I think it takes advantage of our desire to bigger number, better person, you know, like what we were talking about earlier. So it's like when you see on TikTok, like, whoa, like that person's like doing that thing and they just got 1 million views, like doing that, right? It's very, it's like it baits people in because it shows, whoa, big number, chase that, go do that. But I don't really think that number is quite the value that it would be on other apps. Like if you got 1 million likes on an Instagram photo, like that's crazy. But if you get like 1 million likes on TikTok, that's crazy too. But it feels a little less crazy, you know? Like if I could choose 1 million views on a YouTube video or 5 million views on a TikTok, I'd probably choose 1 million views on a YouTube video personally, because I think that those numbers are more significant. They're weighted heavier. Do you have perfect pitch? No, I don't. Did you release your previous album on Spotify? No, I've never put anything on Spotify other than Sola. Yes, I will release my current stuff. People always ask me when I'm going to upload my music to those platforms. I just haven't yet. Part of my job is basically marketing a programming language, and we are supposed to be making social content. But literally, where do you start? Might as well be talking to geese. True. Also, doesn't it have an algorithm that promotes more people with conventionally attractive appearance more? I think that's true. The entire internet. I think that's true. The whole world. I think that's called the halo effect. I don't necessarily think the algorithm does that itself, but people click videos of people that are more attractive, and then they end up getting pushed to more people because the algorithm is reacting to the clicks, right? So social media is crazy stuff. So yeah, is 63 prime? 63 is prime, isn't it? Wait, yeah, 63 is prime. No, 21 times 3 is 63, isn't it? Yeah, 63 is 21 times 3. Jacob Collier TikTok collab win. Dude, if I had a dollar for every time someone asked me about Jacob Collier, I'd have so much money. I'm tired of algorithms too, Wad Wizard. I hate it because you like have to create like thumbnails that are catchy into the algorithm. You have to do this thing, that a title that's like hooking, you know? It's like you can't just make your content and share it, and you can't, like, I see so much stuff that's incredible content that gets like no views, and then I see stuff that's like pretty low tier content effort that gets like tons of views because they played the algorithm better. Have you listened to Bjork before? People always compare my singing to Bjork, which I'm very flattered by. I haven't really listened to Bjork that much. I think she's cool. I kind of get her aesthetic a little bit, but I haven't really dug deep in her music, despite being compared to her all the time. So that algorithm is emergent behavior. See, that's true, Max, but the weird thing about the algorithm, I agree with that, Aiden. I agree with that 100%. I hit that a lot on my YouTube channel. It's like, watch, I'm gonna release a vocal coach reacts to Billie Eilish video this week, and that'll probably perform better than my videos that I spend like 2 months making that are like deep content. So we'll see how it goes. You said it's emergent behavior and it's what we put in the algorithm. See, the interesting thing though, Max, is yes, but over time the algorithm trains us, right? Like we train the algorithm based on what we click at, but then what happens is the algorithm sort of trains us to click certain things. You know what I mean? So I think it goes both ways. Like we are training the algorithm, but then based on the way it distributes content to us and the way we get satisfaction out of the content it distributes to us, we end up being trained by the algorithm. So I think it's a bit of a feedback loop where the initial genesis is we feed the algorithm, but then the other thing, no, I'm not joking about that video at all, Jess. No, I'm going to start playing the algorithm more. I'm going to start doing a content cycle where it's one video for me, one video for my audience, and one video for the algorithm. And that will make it, because I'm releasing like a video a week. Before I would do like one big video every month. Now I'm going to have one big video every month still, but I'm also going to have a video that's kind of geeky for me, that's kind of smaller, and I'm doing what I want. But then I'm also going to have a video that's specifically trying to tap into the algorithm. You know, I've seen voice channels that have incredible voice education content on them, and they plateau at like 5 to 10,000 views a video. Luckily mine's like bigger than that, but then they switch to this reacts to, vocal coach reacts to, and then they're instantly at like 100,000 views, like 50,000 views, 500,000 views. So for me, it makes a lot of sense to play the algorithm to grow the channel as a whole, so that then when I make my more serious content that's high value, it's actually impacting more people. You know, that's the thing about the algorithm. You might as well play it, because all it's going to do is it's going to allow you to reach more people with the content that you really care about. You know, it's pretty crazy stuff. So what's a voice channel that you like? Well, I'll give you an example. Kopfin. They don't get little views anymore. About 4 years ago, there was a YouTube channel called Tristan Paredes. Tristan Paredes was a vocal educator and singer who honestly put out tons of great vocal education material. If you search for Tristan Paredes, you'll find their YouTube channel, and now you'll find they have 2 million subscribers. And that is, they put out educational content, high-level educational content for over a year, and they plateaued around 6 to 10,000 subscribers for about a year, and they were putting out incredible content. Then they made Vocal Coach Reacts to, and they were the ones that popularized it, and within a month or two, 200,000 subscribers. Within 6 months, 1 million. They turned their channel that had been plateaued for 10K subs for literally a year, making incredible content, to like 1 million in like 3 months by just making algorithm-based videos. And now they deleted all their old content and they only do that, which I'll never do that, but it just goes to show the way this algorithm works. I could mention other voice channels too that have had that same kind of growth curve. So it's just weird how the algorithm does that. Hi, Sanam. Sanam, it's so good for you to be here. Earlier in this stream, the first hour of it, we were theorizing primodality. So there's a lot of intense music theory stuff there early on. And then now we're just kind of chatting about social media and weirdness. Yes, I agree, Ushi. I completely agree. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, but Kopfin, they didn't at first. At first, they were uploading like daily or weekly voice education content that actually was really good, you know? And then their channel like plateaued very quickly, and then they started doing that, and then they just exploded. So it's like, why would you not do that? Right? And that's what I hate about it, is it feels like my self-agency gets removed, you know? So I think the best way to do it is to make content, one video for me, for the art, one video for the algorithm, and one for the audience. So it's like one that I love personally, the other might get lost on my audience, one that my audience will love and give high value to the audience, and then one that the algorithm will love that can grow my channel. That's the new mode of process for me. So we're about to test my first Vocal Coach Reacts to video tonight. My editor was supposed to have it done yesterday, but their computer glitched and they had to re-edit it today. So yeah, it's crazy, right? Can you offer me any vocal channels to offer content? I honestly only watch my own vocal channel now, so I wouldn't be able to do that. I used to watch a lot more voice channels. I will say New York Singing Coach or whatever, that dude, he's pretty good. He's got high value content for sure. V Hart made a video about that. I'd love to see that. You like the distribution, good strategy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Each time has its own problems. It's more of a personal. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's just like, you know, it's not something I like really want to do, but it just seems like you might as well try it, you know? Like, my channel is still growing at a pretty good rate, but like, I mean, I could drop one of those videos and it could like blow my channel up like 100,000 subs overnight. You know what I mean? That's just the way it works with the algorithm. So like that Jacob Collier video I just released, it didn't land like I wanted to. I'm not sure why. The algorithm started to pick it up for like 2 hours and then dropped it. But that's kind of a disappointment, because, you know, there's other channels that have like way less subs than my music channel and way less engagement, and they'll drop something that's like a minute long video that's just like them like doing something stupid with the title Jacob Collier, and they'll get like 100,000 views in like 2 days. I was hoping that was going to be the hit for the 27 note megachord video, but the algorithm said no. Even though it has great click-through impression rates, it just didn't generate impressions for some reason. It did within the first 7 hours after it released. It started to blow up, and then it stopped, and then another 7 hours later it pumped it out impressions, and then it just plateaued. So I don't know what happened there. I hate the algorithm stuff though. It's so annoying. Speaking of vocal coach reacts to, do you know lingua ignota? No. Some of the most awesome vocal work. I'll check that out. I'll take a note of it right now. We have more viewers now. We're in the most interesting part of the live stream, everybody. The first 30 minutes was like a technical exposition of primodality. So, yeah. Yeah, I actually wondered, Dave, if the reason why it didn't get the traction I was planning for it to is because I posted it externally too much. Because I posted it on Facebook, I posted it on Jacob Collier group. About 50% of the traffic from that did not come from impressions. It came from direct link. So I almost wonder if by giving it to people on direct link, they didn't click it on the YouTube impressions. So that ended up pushing the performance down. I hate YouTube. I hate the algorithm stuff. I really hate it so much. I just wish we could just make good content and then, yeah, watch the VOD for new viewers. The last hour has kind of watered down the intensity of content in the first hour. But yeah. You were listening to the song, it's Carl Weiser. Of course. Gosh, all this is so dumb to have to think about. I agree, Brock, but the problem is trying to be a successful artist in this day and age and play that game. How many people do we know that make incredible content that just can't turn it into their career or whatever because they don't play the algorithm, right? So it's there's a huge capital pressure to play the algorithm so that you can do what you love and focus on that. At least you bring us some of the best microtonal music on the web. Don't focus too much on the YouTube algorithm here. Yeah, I don't. That Jacob Collier thing was the first algorithm game I ever tried. Otherwise, I just keep making the video. Funny is the algorithm suggested me this video just now at the end. Yeah, isn't that weird, Oscar? You only caught the last 5 minutes? You should watch all of it. The first 30 minutes of this stream is so fire. So, ooh, that would be really cool. I'd love to see someone combine some Mount Meru scales with the primodality stuff. Saddest part for me is there's no alternative to YouTube even. I know, right? What is it? YouTube has 2.5 billion users and TikTok has 1 billion users now. So TikTok is the third biggest. We now have Facebook as the biggest social media platform. YouTube is the second biggest. I think Snapchat's the third biggest, and then the fourth biggest is TikTok. And then, so let's think about that. Yeah, go ahead and like this video. If everyone here clicks like, we'll go over 100, and that'll help me on the algorithm. Woo, okay. But isn't that weird, right? I don't like it as a viewer because I just want to see new stuff, and you get worn out when everything. I know. See, we went up to 94 likes. Thank you for pressing 102 likes. Thank you all. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's weird. So let's see here. So TikTok now has 1 billion viewers on it. So another thing I'm supposed to do in order to win the algorithm on YouTube is to start making YouTube shorts. Okay, so I guess I'm going to start doing those. Because check this out. YouTube is so big, when they turned on their shorts, they get 20 billion views a day on YouTube shorts. Okay, that is way more than TikTok. Way more. So, no, that's way more than Twitch, excuse me. That's over 10 times what Twitch gets every day. So YouTube is massive. I don't know the daily views on TikTok. I imagine it has to be over 20 billion, right? Because, oh, my camera died again. But I imagine it has to be over 20 billion, right? Because they have, where's my little text box thing? Hold up, let me just duplicate this. It's got to be over a certain size, right? What do you guys think the daily viewership on TikTok is? How many views? Keeping in mind the views are hyperinflated on that application. Yeah, at least 2 billion. It's got to be more than 2 billion because there's 1 billion users now on TikTok. And you think that if you just try to leave the application, it shows you 3 videos even if you don't want to watch them. They've got to be, if YouTube has 2 billion users and gets 20 billion views on shorts a day, and TikTok has 1 billion, but their whole thing are short videos, and when you try to back out, it plays 3. They've got to have at least 30 billion views a day on there, right? 3 billion because it crosses platforms too. That's true. There's so many shorts that are trying to just trick people into watching the whole thing. Yeah, that's the whole point of the algorithm. So it's crazy, right? It's how can you trick someone into clicking on the content? See, for me, I feel like I make high quality content, whether that's voice or music. And so it's annoying because to play the algorithm, you have to make high value content, but then represent it like it's not high value content. Does that make sense? Like, you have to like clickbait someone into something, but then deliver on the content. But you could get even more views if you just clickbaited, period. Shorts would be okay if the interface, yeah, I haven't figured out how to do it yet. Like, another thing, using community questions on YouTube, that breaks the algorithm too. So if I just literally post something, any random thing, and I turn it as a poll on the YouTube community page, it will make your channel perform better. A lot of people don't know that either. So I think social media is, I sound like a boomer though. Social media is so bad to kids these days and their short attention span, TikToks, videos. I like long form content too. The thing is though, you're so strongly discouraged from making long form content by the algorithm unless you're already big, right? Like if you're big, like if you're like ContraPoints, she can make long form content all day, you know? Let's see here. Blew my mind when Spiffy and Britt started talking. Yeah, I know a lot about this stuff just because I know it, but I don't play it very often. Just because I actually feel like it's like, I don't know, I don't like it. It makes me feel like I have brain worms when I'm like worrying about playing a machine. Like, it's like a slot machine. Do you write for traditional instruments? Oh yeah. Actually, you know what's interesting? Do you have a clarinet you want to hear played? Absolutely. Do you want to hear a clarinet concerto I wrote a long time ago? I got commissioned when I was in university to write a piece. It's a clarinet concerto for percussion ensemble and clarinet. I do have an actual recording of it, but I don't like the quality of it. So let me go ahead and play a MIDI version of it. Let me find it. Well, she got big in the first place because she wasn't making long form content, right? A lot of her stuff used to be like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Then when she got bigger, it kind of moved into like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then she got bigger and moved into like an hour and like 2 hours, right? So let's see here. Let me try to find this clarinet concerto and I'll play it for you all. I think long form content is overrated. Yeah, sure. I think long form content isn't overrated if it's good content. Right? I think if it's just long content, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but long form content that's really high value content is so awesome. I love that. So this is called Color Flux. It's a clarinet concerto. Let me find it. I haven't listened to it in ages, but I know I've got it lurking somewhere on my machine. I have to look back through very old FLPs. I think I found it. Color Flux. Clarinet concerto. Oh wait, I have to go in my music theory folder. First mover advantage is big, yeah. Let's see. I don't necessarily think she was necessarily the first person to do like philosophical video essays with theatrical elements though. I definitely think she was the first mover in certain ways, but in other ways, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of been a popular format for a while. Let's see. Music theory. Music theory. I love music theory. Where's it at? Music theory. I think I'm gonna crop off the last hour because I really wanted this to be like a short start and stop so that people can learn about primodality easily. So I'll probably crop the last hour of this off at some point. I think when I publish it or whatever, I'll do that. But maybe not. Should I just leave the whole thing up or what? Yeah, I think everyone's taken influence from that like theatrical thing. I know I want to do video essays, not music theory, but I want to do video essays. I want to do video essays more for certain thing. Is this it? Colored Thoughts? Oh, this is old music. What is this? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Music theory and sheet music. Here we go. I have the score for it. Color Flux. Here we go. What is this? find the whole thing. This is like one excerpt of it. There's like a percussion break. Let's see. So it was a percussion ensemble with clarinet. The score is a bit messy. I think I can turn it on. Hold up. How many performers? Forget it. I'll try to find the whole version of it somewhere, but here's the clarinet part. It's a bit messy. I engraved this a long time ago, so I wasn't as good at the time, but it's definitely readable. It's a pretty challenging piece, but the performer Kelly Niyama, Dr. Niyama, performed it, and she was very good at it, so that was cool. I wasn't a super big fan of the percussion ensemble that performed it at the time. Let me go ahead and I'll see if I can pull up the whole score. Where's it at? Let me turn this little screen off here and then go the score revised. Is this it? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So this was commissioned. It was a commission project. It was commissioned by the percussion by Dr. Finney and Kelly Niyama for the Indiana State Percussion Ensemble. And it starts out with this really cool section where it's like the ensemble is producing like a rainstorm. You guys know that's kind of a thing in my music, you know? We were just listening to Hex and there's a lot of that. So it starts out, let's see, parts. There's a clarinet part, mallet 1, mallet 2, mallet 3, and then 3 percussionists. And some of this is kind of messy. I think this is not exactly the most matured version of the score. Like we can see that's kind of messy there, but this is one that I could pull up. So what is this, like 41 pages or something like that? So this was a fun piece. Oh, this section's cool, a little contrapuntal action going on here. I'll try to find the audio file for it, but this is Color Flux, and it's a clarinet concerto with percussion ensemble backing. So yes, I have composed for acoustic instruments, although a bit less. Trying to turn my camera back on. I think I got it. Hello? Am I alive? Does it work? Now I'm like crooked because I was like trying to turn it on and messed it up. Okay. Here we are. It's so hot in here too. Let's see. What engraving software? Back then I used Finale. I wouldn't use Finale now. I hate Finale. Kelly, wife of Charles Naide. I'm not sure. Do you know her from IU? Because it was like an IU thing. And yes, actually the piece opens with multiphonics M. So yes, I've actually written multiphonics for clarinet. I composed that in 2013, I think. So definitely not my best piece, but it was a good work. If Oscar, if you're thinking of Kelly from the IU space, that's who it is. She's a great player. Great clarinetist. She handles her mid-range so good. Yeah, I would probably use Dorico. Honestly, I kind of always liked Sibelius, but I never had it, never owned it, or never used it really, so kind of is what it is, you know? Oh yeah, I have a better version of the score there I just found. Because they ended up performing it at they ended up summing. Oh, you actually want to perform it? I bet I could do like a digital version for you, like a backing track for it, but like a good one, or maybe you perform a solo of it or something, or yeah, if you want to, or if you want to do it with percussionists, that'd be cool. Let me know where we can get in contact formally. Yeah, sure. Email me here. This is like this email I use strictly for like music stuff. So Amelia Eros Music, for sure. I don't think it's been performed for maybe 5 years, 6 years. That's really cool that you're in here though. These days I just mostly compose microtonal, and so a lot of people can't play microtonal, so I tend to not compose too much for traditional instruments, but I did a lot of composition in that way. Clarinet, I learned so much from composing for clarinet. Specifically, I learned about register more on clarinet than anything else, because the clarinet feels so heterogeneous as you move through its space, you know? Whereas like the cello is very homogeneous. When you're moving up and moving down, it's like, it sounds like the tone is preserved across. Whereas to me, the clarinet really has such distinct areas of its range that all sound very beautiful, but very different, you know? Ooh, I'm seeing my old arrangements. I did a cool arrangement of, what was that? I did a cool arrangement of a Schubert work at one point. Oh, and I did some scoring for a metal band. I used to do like, you know, like metal bands need strings for their stuff and they don't know how to do it. So I used to do that. Woodwind section is a whole mess. I agree completely. You know, I didn't know it at the time that the clarinet was like an odd harmonic instrument, but now I know it and it's like, oh, everything makes so much more sense. How it overblows and behaves and everything. I wish I could find this piece. Ooh, Splendora. I forgot about that piece. Color flux. I wish I could find, okay, when was this? 2014. I'm gonna go try and find the whole thing so I can play it on stream. I do have a meeting I have to get to a little bit later. I don't know if Dusty Nebula or the Nebula system is still here, but I need to go have a chit chat with them shortly. So let me do a little bit more here and then I shall fly away into the ether. And who knows how long it will be till I stream again. Okay, let's see. 2014 is what I'm looking for, it seems. Do we find it? Oh, I think no, that's all 2015. What would have came before this? So there's that. That's 2015 stuff. Would it be here? Here we go. I think I maybe found it. 2012, 2013. And then, what's this? Key Your Car. I made a song called Key Your Car. Should I click play? I don't know if it's going to be ridiculous or not. Oh, I know exactly what this is. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. So I had a friend who got harassed by this person. And when this person harassed them and kind of had their last explosion, they ended up recording the person screaming. And then I was trying to help my friend get over that. So I took that scream of their kind of harasser and I put it in a dubstep drop. And it's called Key Your Car. It's like some Mountain Dew kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So, but it was a meme a long time ago. But it was someone who kind of hurt a friend of mine, and they got recorded when they did it. So I put him in a dubstep drop. And yeah, I forgot all about that. I wasn't intending to play that on stream. Ooh. I do make musical memes. Yeah, it's like Mountain Dew. Oh, here we go. Dr. Finney.
Ready, go.
Some steel pans. I used to be in a steel band. This is Astrid. I had to solo over this or whatever, so they had to record a backtrack for me to come or something. Maybe someone else had to solo. I forget. I think I was playing bass at the time, actually. So, no. Although there is a really gnarly bass solo. If you guys have heard, what is that song called? Panorama. No, it was performed at Panorama. I forget. There's this really famous steel pan piece that has the nastiest bass solo ever. It was just so fire. Violin oboe. Here's a piece I composed for violin and oboe and electronics. It's pretty good. I don't know if I have the actual full recording right now. Microtonal steel pans. Piano Tech can do that actually pretty good. I was doing that the other night. Wait. I'm trying to find this 2014. I want to find Color Flux because there is actually a recording of it that's audible. I'd love to show that clarinet performer here in chat the piece so they could know what they're getting into. It's kind of got some tricky rhythms here and there, but it's definitely playable. I think some parts of it are probably not super idiomatic just because at the time I was a beginner writing for the instrument. But I think over time, as I wrote more of the score, it became increasingly more idiomatic for the performer. Let's see. Where would I have put it? Oh, Dreamscape. What is this? We love this. Different sections of Dreamscape. 4th, 7, 8 MIDI. Marimba excerpt. Yeah, alright. Sounds great, Oscar. Thanks for that offer. I still want to know where that file's at, though. I feel like it's been forever since I listened to it. Oh, here's some old music. I've made way too much music. I don't know what to do with all of it other than just... Oh, Wizard Float. Do you guys want to hear Wizard Float? This is a meme. This is like, what, 2012? It was like a metal demo. Wizard Float. I just like the name of it. Kind of weird harmony. Weird stuff. And then it turned into this. I couldn't play guitar at the time, so I would just punch everything in, because I was like a baddie at the guitar. But I wanted to compose still. Oh, what's this? Grain stuff? We do love grains. Oh, just some basic granular synthesis stuff. Gosh, that was fun. Okay, everyone. Oh, this piece. A piece I never finished. This piece makes me sad I never finished this. No, that wasn't... Well, I guess it kind of was unreleased. That never got anywhere for real. There's, like, real unreleased Sirens. It's, like, pretty good. But that wasn't it. That was just, like, me, like, noodling around one night, wizard floating. This piece actually makes me sad I didn't release. I ended up destroying the project file, and I would love to release it. Is this it? Yeah. It's called Pulse. And for some reason, for years and years, I've wanted to make a song called Pulse, and I just never have. It's kind of quiet. Hold up. It's like a minimal thing. This is the piece that got away. You know what I mean? Some pieces that get away without being finished. And this one was one of those. 2012? I remember I started composing this before a concert. I had an orchestral concert that night, and I sat with my laptop 3 hours before the performance, with my headphones on, at a table, and I wrote this. Never touched it since. It got away. The project file, I messed it up or whatever. This little noise that's coming up is so pretty, but it was randomly generated, so I can't like get back to it. Right here, right here. I love that. I love it. It's just so simple, but so pretty. The sound was randomly generated in an old VST called Plant. I think that's what it's called. Synplant. It's like a it's like a weird generated thing. I don't know how to describe it. Synplant was cool, but it broke, and then I lost all this. I forgot. I don't even know what comes next. That might just be it. Does it drop back in? Maybe? Anyways, there's Pulse. It's one of those songs that got away from me. I wrote it one night, and it never came back. What's this? Is this something? I don't know what this is either. Sounds like some... I'm not sure when I wrote this. I don't know why I wrote it. 2013? Some experimental stuff, I guess? Yeah, I always had the kick so loud. What's this? Me and Travis. I don't know what this is. Oh, there's this awesome guitarist a long time ago. He came over one night and we just wrote this. He was on tour and his band was, we were crossing paths, and so we just wrote this together. There's actually one cool part in this. I forget where it's at though. What's this? Just some noodles. Take care, Tom. It was great having you here. This is an old thing. There's this part here, though. Oh, here we go. This is like the coolest part of it. This is the only reason I like this song at all. I love this ambient stuff. Nice. I love Hammock. Hammock used to be one of my favorite bands ever. I used to write stuff like this all the time. I don't know if you guys have heard my ambient rock music. Like this kind of stuff. It's like country rock. I used to write like ambient country rock all the time. I don't know why. It's called, my old project used to call it called Hiva, the Atma. I wrote an entire album of it, post-rock stuff. I bet I can pull up the actual good stuff. This was like demos of it. Where would I find all this music at? There's actually some really good pieces here. One of them in particular. This is like, I sucked at playing guitar, but I like played guitar so I could make ambient rock, because I went through like a 3-year long hammock phase. I don't know if you guys are into hammock, but I got hooked on hammock and I was like hooked on them for years and years and years and years. Here we go. So the album, here we go. Can I find it? No. 2011 is when I finished this post-rock album. Is the music still possible to access right now? That's what I'm curious about. Please say it is. Yes, here you go. Here's some of that. So this one is Balance. What is this shit? No, I don't want to share it. I want to play it. Okay. Hiva. Balance. It's just a giant hammock ripoff, but with more country rock. Here we go. Starting with Crickets, the Storms. What can I say? I'm a creature of habit. It brings me back to the Midwest. This is Hiva. 2011. I played everything. Just some real basic stuff. That is what it is. Crickets. That's right. project is where I discovered my love of bass. Because I felt like the bass guitar led everything. And it was the first time I ever played bass guitar. Based on what? I love that meme. If you could give a rough estimate of how much of your music was ever in standard 12 EDO, what would you give? 95%. I've only been microtonal for the last 2 years. I've been composing music for 15 years. I used to write music 16 hours a day, almost every single day of my life. Or study it, or go to school for it. I just constantly wrote music. So by far I have a way more time in 12 EDO. But I'm trying to change that over time. This is actually kind of nice. I still like this. Sounds good. And some violin I tried to play. It's probably out of tune. You get it. It's that. Then there's this, which is more like a country rock kind of tune. It's like a very mixolydian energy. Such a good bass tone. What did you track this through? I think a pod. Yeah, I know. That bass tone is fat. I agree. That's when I learned to love bass. This was made in 2010, late 2010. Everything in this, except program the drums. The bass in this is also really fat. I want to do microtonal country. I mean, okay, hold on. Where's the microtonal country rock? Did you listen to Sola? Sola is about the closest thing I've ever heard to like folk country microtonal progressive pop. It's a weird mix. I feel like it's so folky and country at the same time, even though it's like, you know, it's not. You feel me? There's that fat bass again. Oh, this is in mono. It's very stereo on the actual recording, so yeah, there's that. There's Eva. I forget what this one sounds like. This one's like country, out the wazoo. Kinda. Yeah, that was my 5th album I ever made. I don't count those as my actual albums. So in case you guys don't know, I count my first full-length album as being my first full-length album is actually my 6th full-length album. So I wrote 6 albums before I actually released what I dub as my first full-length album. And yeah, and I'll probably never share the other ones because they're just too old. But so they're forgotten. They're amongst the wasteland of music, my graveyard of sounds. And yeah, that was I don't know, 4 or 5 albums after I got started. Yeah, exactly. That's my -4th. That's how I'm going to start saying it. That's my -4th album. You like that? I'll play some more of it. How's it start? Okay, it starts like this. It's kind of a vibe. This shit's fun to play. Me playing violin. I was a little baby violinist. So I I buried it in the background. Yeah, this is pretty much country, isn't it? Yeah, I love it though. That was like 5 weeks of playing violin. Welcome back. That's cool. I didn't know Beethoven did that with his things. That is actually pretty good. I bet I could make an album like this and do it really well, and then it would become my most popular album ever created. I would almost bet money on it, and that's the sad part of living. You guys agree? If I did this, but I did it really high production, I bet it would blow up. Slide guitar. Oh yeah, I guess this was synth. Never mind. It just sounds like slide guitar at first. So there you go. That's Hiva. Early project. That's my -4th album I've ever made. So I guess that means that my 5th album coming up is actually my 10th album. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, how's the Lumatone situation? Amazing. They sent me a new Lumatone, brand new, and it works amazing, and it feels better than the other one too. And I've got it over there now instead of down here, just because I was doing a project for a friend of mine, and I had to perform some piano on their album, and I recorded a lot of it first with Lumatone, and there were some parts I needed to shred, and I can't shred on the Lumatone yet, although I'm actually getting way better. I'll do a Lumatone stream again soon. I feel like in the last week or two, I've played more Lumatone than ever, and I feel like I've gotten way better at it. So there's that. I've also been practicing. I'm going to be doing a cover, no, I guess not a cover, but a rendition, arrangement of Danny Boy in 31. Ooh, I love Danny Boy so much. So I'm going to be doing I'm going to sing and play Lumatone 31 on, really? Wait, on one of my own songs that had a copyright claim. I think there was one stream where I played Now, which is a soul artist. So if it was a live stream, I did play copyrighted music once on a live stream. Let me know if it was one of my main pieces though. So, and then I'll try to avoid that. Ooh. Lumatone, no sound. You guys don't hear that right now? Oh, you guys didn't know I'm over here playing? Oh, it's not the Lumatone. I've got a keyboard in front of me. Hold up. Let me try this. Let me see if... Now you guys can hear it, right? Seems to be good now. I think you all were just pulling my leg. Oh, you can't hear it when I do it that way. Bummer. Because that way has no latency, and this one has latency. Oh, well, I'll try and do. I'm not playing Lumatone. Lumatone's over there. I actually want to play Lumatone for this, because I've been practicing it on Lumatone. But, you know, I can play it on 12 EDO piano, too. Ooh, it's so latent, though. nice. Ooh, that's cool. I like that. That's nice. You can hear now, right? Okay. Are you putting any of the? Are you putting up any of this? Yeah, I'm gonna put up all of this. The whole point of the stream. I'm probably gonna delete the last 2 hours of the stream, actually, because the whole point was I was gonna stream for 30 minutes and talk about theories of primodality. Then I did, and then people were still here. True, I guess that's true, Wad. Oops. Who said this was 12 EDO? Who said this was 12 EDO? Someone thinks this is 12 EDO. It's close. It's very, very close. It's an ultra high resolution JI thing that's pretty much 12 EDO. It's my highest harmonic segment thing. You're over here thinking it's 12 EDO. Who do you think? Do you think 12 EDO sound? No, it's pretty much 12 EDO, just a little more JI. Let's see here. Ooh. Here, I actually want to switch pianos. Kind of like the tone here better. This is 12 EDO. Doesn't that sound way worse? I can't get lost in that. Let me go here. What about this sound? No, I mean, it was 12. It was like a 12-note framework. I will go to 12 now. But I like, if I'm gonna do 12, I turn sympathetic resonance up a lot, because then it becomes JI just based on its kind of sympathy. At first I was using a JI that's on 512. Everything is basically down to like 0.2 or 0.3 cents of 12 EDO, so you were pretty accurate with it. I very rarely play in pure 12. I'm in pure 12 right now though. Ooh, how about that? someone's trying to claim Gossamer as theirs. Okay, now you got me interested. Okay, that is extremely interesting. No way. Gossamer has a Counter-Strike claim on it? Let me check. Oh my god, it does! Oh my, what is this shit? Yeah, no. Counterclaiming the hell out of that right now. That is crazy. Thank you for catching that. Gossamer has a copyright claim on it? That is literally insane. And it makes me want to burn the... It's probably automatic with an algorithm. It makes me want to burn YouTube to the ground. I'm going to go and like... Never mind, I was going to say something that I probably shouldn't say publicly. Okay, let's see. That's crazy, 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 crazy. That is actually the craziest thing I've heard all day. Hold up. Gossamer? Gossamer does not sound like anybody else's music, period. That is some cracked out music. Let's see here. Copyright claim. Your video... I can't actually just claim... Wait, I can't counterclaim right now? Ineligible? What is this? What is this crap? Select action. Dispute. My dispute isn't based... I would still like to... Are you serious? I'm doing a claim on this right now. This is original content. Okay. Review requirements. You can confirm everything is yours. It is. Yes, of course. Find out who claimed the content. Some crackpot. Okay. Content claim is my original. It does not include anyone else's work. True. This is literally my piece. You are all insane, and I hate this stupid computer DMCA crap. DMCA crap. Gossamer was composed between 2011 and 2012 as a centerpiece to my first album, Dream Sura. It is entirely my own music, and this is stupid. Okay. Perfect. Uh-huh. Signature, full legal name. Yeah. And let me also see who this person let me go listen. Wait, I won't listen to the thing that caught me copyrighted, right? Because then they'll try and be like, oh, we're going to copyright your thing now. I can't believe that. I'm going to... That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Hold up. You are all insane, and I hate the stupid DMCA crap. Leave me alone. Gossamer was literally composed... the centerpiece entirely my own music, and this is stupid. The piece claimed... Okay. There's that. Okay, I submitted a counterclaim. I'll be going down if oh god, to even try and say that just is so offensive to me. God, why would I want to copyright that trash song? Or why would I want to copy someone's trash song like that? You know what I'm saying? Like what is this crap? I can't believe it. That's crazy. How about we all listen to... So what, if I listen to Gossamer on the stream, is this stream getting it flagged as copyright now? I hope this... You are actually stupid. That's pretty much what I did. There is no way that Gossamer sounds anything like that piece. Gossamer is like the dumbest form ever. It's literally like a three... You know what? If Gossamer's copyrighted, Siren's... That one Siren song should be copyrighted too, because Gossamer's inside of it. Let's see. What's that song called again? Okay. What is this crap? Yeah, this isn't copyrighted. It's got 280,000 views or whatever. It's not copyrighted. That is insane. That is literally insane. And I hope that these people wake up in the morning and have diarrhea. I hope they're either constipated or diarrhea. Both. Yeah, let me turn my camera off. That one probably died this time. time I play in 12-BDO, I have to play Pure Imagination. Yeah. You know what? I gotta get the chart for that. I guess I can try and change batteries again. I'll let my camera chill out. I should probably end this stream. It's going way longer than I thought. I need to eat food. Pure Imagination. I need to eat food. Let's see here. Let me get a little chart for this. So I feel like pure imagining out of my mind. I feel like I never remember the charts for things because I always never play them. I always like just improvise, and I can't focus my ADHD to learn the charts properly. So I kind of loosely know how it goes. I've even written it down like 5 times in my little book, but alas. You know, it's actually crazy that Gene Wilder wrote this. Don't you guys think that's pretty crazy? Like, he's an actor or whatever, and he like actually wrote this. If I could be wrong. Pretty sure, right? No, I guess maybe he didn't write it. I thought he did. Because this chart says Leslie Bruce and Anthony Newley. But I thought what's his face wrote it. I guess I'm wrong. Okay. So C sharp 7, sharp 9. And then it's this lovely little G major thing that's like okay, right. And then we get into the A flat thing. See, I always remember the A flat thing, but I always forget how it starts. What is that? And then it's like yeah. I love this ooh, I love that like half diminished. One of my favorite melodies ever, though, that's for sure. Oh, you said that's your favorite too, yeah. Have you ever seen Young Frankenstein? No. So Gene Wilder, did he compose it or not? Do you like the chromatic? Are you talking about the chromatic run here? Or are you talking about the chromatic run here? Or how's that go? Yeah. That cool. Yeah, black screen. It's because my camera overheated. Let me look at the chart. Ooh, good idea. Well, you see, you're like, let me look at the chart. My friend here, I myself would like to look at the chart. Let me show you the chart I'm looking at and why I'm not playing it very well. What do you guys think about this chart? Yeah, baby. I've got my real book somewhere, so I could go grab it, but I think it's in the peach real book. This is what I'm trying to read it off right now. That's nice. Like triplet run. So yeah, that's what I'm reading off right now. My eyes can't see past the giant preview only text. Do you guys, does this count? Does this count as a preview? What do you guys think? If I can read the chart, okay, I see the A flat 7. And then it goes to, what is this? It's C7, right? Right? And then we go. And then we got this, which I don't need the chart for this. Ooh, yeah. Now, is this C7? That's gotta be C minor, right? Where it goes. No? It's just C7? Oh, oh yeah, right. It's dominant. Yeah, okay, that's true. Is it really just a watermark if it's opaque? This is the how I get my charts. You know, I just type Google chart, and then I go looking around until we find beautiful charts like this one here, which is a bit of a tease, I must say. Does this count? If I play the whole thing from this, any musician reading off the previous is sus. From previews. I mean, I've got the real book. I own this. I own this. I mean, I've got the chart somewhere. I've even gotten it written down in my little composition book. But alas, we don't. Does that actually count as DMCA? If I read off a... I wish I could play microtonal. Well, I guess you guys can't see me, so I can turn on the Lumatone and play microtonal. Sure. All right, we're going to shift into the Lumatone. I'm turning it on right now. Now I've got Lumatone turned on. It's time to go over to the Lumatone. And I shall play in, let's see, I'll play in 31 EDO first. I'll give you guys some linear things. There we go. String retention. It's so laggy though. Okay, I don't have a sustain pedal plugged in. That's kind of a problem. Hold on. Let me lower this to 280 hertz there. That'll be fine. Then let me take the sustain pedal out from my... I need to buy another sustain pedal. Let me take the sustain pedal out from my Nord Stage 3. Then bring it over here. Move the sustain pedal. Hold on, that's too loud. The velocity curve is a bit different. Okay, I think we're good now. Let me know if that's loud enough or not. Compare me to Jacob Collier. Quit comparing me to Jacob Collier. I'm my own musician. I've been doing music since longer. Oh my gosh. I've been making music before I knew he existed. it's gonna drive me crazy one day. It's flattering, but I can't handle it any longer. I am my own artist. I'm not Jacob Collier. I am my own artist. Okay, sorry about that. I apologize. Thank you. That's a great compliment. I appreciate it. He's a great artist. Isn't that enjoyable? Gosh, we sure do love that a little bit, don't we? Please know I'm losing my sense of pitch. Have mercy. Indeed, your sense of pitch shall be deleted by this magical stream here. Okay, I'm gonna go switch batteries, then I'm gonna turn my camera on, and then I'm gonna say goodbye because I've been here way too long. Be right back. Yes, exactly. That was 12 EDO. I don't know why your sense of pitch would be off about that. Those are just the normal notes we always have. Okay, camera, turn on now. I said now, turn on. Clap. Oh, it turned on right when I clapped. Okay. Oh no, it turned on a lot sooner. It just got laggy because I was looking at the old. Okay, hello everybody. Gosh. Woo, I'm quite hot. Let's see. I wonder if I could show you the Lumatone, maybe. My room's messy. No judging my room. Well, I guess it's not messy. I guess like the cleanest part of the room, actually, to be honest with you. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Wasn't that fun, everyone? That was definitely 12 video. No, I do not have perfect pitch. I have very imperfect pitch, but I've got very strong relative hearing, and that's all that really matters in music, I think, most of the time, you know? So, yep. Oh, chord. Yeah, for sure. I've got the Prologue over there. I like the Prologue better. I just got my HPi box so I can start micro-tuning those synthesizers. But I haven't used it yet because I have to get MIDI cables, and because I'm such an in-the-box Zoomer composer, I don't have MIDI cables. So I've tuned in twice now asking if someone has perfect pitch. I don't have perfect pitch. Now I guess I'll play a little bit of 34 before I go. Yeah, the HPi box is cool. I mean, you might as well order one because I really wanted one and they were out. So now they aren't out, so I bought one. Let's see. Is that better? Yeah, okay. Okay, let's see. Can you all hear me and everything? We're good? Yeah, we're good? Lumatone, focus. Camera, focus here. Not on the microphone. Let me move my microphone. It's in the way. Hello. I've got some fruit gummy snacks, too, I'm going to eat in a moment. 34, are we here? We good? Yeah? Excellent. We're good? Okay. My camera's too hot. My room is hot. I need to turn my AC on, but if I turn my AC on, there's a bunch of noise. So it's been real. It's been real fun. I hope you've all enjoyed listening to me make music and enjoy my music. And thanks for being here. It is now time we pull the plug on the stream, and then I have to write in the description, watch the first 30 minutes, because that's really what the whole point of this stream was, exposing a theory of primodality. So I'm gonna go drink some water, turn my AC on, eat some fruit gummy snacks and some other stuff. So it was nice chatting with everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Crazy how many ways you can make 12 videos. Thank you, Wad. Well, you know, when you've got the Jacob Collier in, no, I'm joking. Okay, gosh. All right, goodbye, everyone. Cheers.